Going hard, Kennels, yeah, we run this yard. Twin bosses, Mo and Mike, every day they go hard. Line stack heavy like a deck full of cards. From yellow Mayday 8s, they bred real stars. Welcome to the yard where the legends get raised, where the chain spots shine and the bloodlines praise. Grand champ King Kunta with that royal type stride. Red ruby in the pen, red hot worldwide. The brat in the cut, keep the hustle on track. Pretty mama got the look and the structure intact. L-Ride bring the heat, yellow bird bring the flame. Gus and 38 special certified in the game. What day in the ring, crowd love in the scene. Dogs moving like ghosts in the champion's dream. From yellow to buck, their foundation is tough. Yellow buck in the veins, yeah, the roots run rough. Mayday in the pedigree, ace in the spine. That old school fire still alive in the line. Twin brothers in command, pushing forward with pride. Going hard on the banner, let the whole world ride. Hard work in the yard, every sunrise earned. Legacy in the dirt, with every chain spot turn. No shortcuts taken, no champions bought. Just blood, sweat, time, and the lessons they taught. Going hard, Kennels, yeah, we run this yard. Twin bosses, Mo and Mike, every day they go hard. Line stack heavy like a deck full of cards. Yellow Mayday ace turning pups into stars. Sheriff Pal bought us in the game, stamp legit. Find him in Tornadoes pedigree. Hall of Fame, double grand champion. James Pogay, the formula showed how to build and sustain. Blueprints in the blood, yeah, the knowledge remain. T.O. our partner, Ohio Cash showed how to win. Turn losses into lessons, now it's trophies we spin. Mama, Triple M, deep south in the mix. Arsenal, Kennels, Stone City, solid foundations, no tricks. Hardcore, BLB up in the spec is 6. Yes, yes. Yeah. Tom, Dick, Todd, Tony Wade, Southern Kennels, real ones through time. Time from Pro Set, Windy City, combined in place, low type, apex, pressure built for the chase. Gotta eat boys, black ice, hunger sharp as a blade. Third verse for the legacy, every debt fully paid. Yeah, I said third verse for the legacy, every debt fully paid.
It's Mo and Mike in the house.
Going hard with the legends, paying homage, you know. Yo. Twins Mo and Mike, we running this game. Legends in the making, never gonna be the same. Kennels popping hard, these game dogs raised right. The brat, pretty mama, they shining so bright. La Mayday, what a day, they breathe the heat. Red Ruby L-Rod, they can't accept defeat. With 38 special and yellow bird, we top tier champions, grand champions, ain't no fear.
Run the register of merit, we got the elite. Mayday bug Jeep, yellow Frisco, feel the beat. Females like honey bunching awesome, baby, we tight. Bloodline strong, spreading knowledge, taking flight. Scratch to win, don't talk, be about it. We the real deal, you know it's no doubt about it.
KPTO, the modern Earl Tudor. Got in the pack, making moves like a tutor. APT, family thick, like legends in the game. Legend of them, Triple M. Shout out the name, Deep South, Roadblock. We upholding tradition. Mama, Southern Kennels, we got that ambition. Hardcore hitters, Stone City brings the fire. The Abrahams, the fam lifting us higher.
Run the register of merit, we got the elite. Mayday bug Jeep, yellow Frisco, feel the beat. Females like honey bunching awesome, baby, we tight. Bloodline strong, spreading knowledge, taking flight. Scratch to win, don't talk, be about it. We the real deal, you know it's no doubt about it.
Listen up, respect the hustle, respect the grind. Ben, Nate Dogg, putting in work intertwined. Keeping that legendary status alive, you feel? Don't hate on the ride, catch the bus, we keep it real. What's history without a future? We pay the way, Captain. We make it happen, that's the play.
So here's to the champions, run the race, stand tall. Twins Mo and Mike, we gon' answer the call. Legends in the game, yeah, we holding it down. In the world of game dogs, we wearing the crown.
Run the register of merit, we got the elite. Mayday buck Jeep, yellow Frisco, feel the beat. Females like honey bunching awesome, maybe we tight. Bloodline strong, spreading knowledge, taking flight. Scratch to win, don't talk, be about it. We the real deal, you know it's true, no doubt about it.
shout out to Ohio Cash, the man with the plan, Rastaman Boom, Schoolboy, aka the. There's levels to this game. Develop your game. Develop your game. Develop your game. Develop your game. Rob, 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 rob.
What up? What up? What's up? Y'all know what time it is. Y'all know what time it is. It's Talk Shit Tuesday. Big shout out to everybody out there on the back street. Big shout out to all my people in the Shark Tank. Let's see who we got here. Big shout out to my man, Mr. Carlos Lee in the house coming in. Showing much love as usual. What up, fam? Big shout out to my man, longtime supporter, the one and only Mr. David Morris in the house. What up, fam? Yo, big shout out to crazy one, the insane honey badgers in the house. What up, fam? Let me see who else I got here. What up, though? My man, Mr. Chico Nicholas. What up, fam? Big shout out to my main man, Mr. Paul Johnson. What up, fam? Bite down and shake that like button, the one and only Double M Despo in the house. What up, fam? Representing Huntsville, Alabama in the house. Hometown homie. Pune! What up, fam? Big shout out to my man, Mr. Mike Lee in the house. What up, fam? Long time no see, fam. Big shout out to my main man, Mr. Burning Star in the house. What up, fam? Big shout out to my man, Pony, though. You know, that's Huntsville, Alabama. That's originally where we from. That's where our roots started at, Huntsville, Alabama. One of them families that left the South and went north, but never forgot the damn Huntsville. Pony, when we was back down there, no older man now, but I remember going down to my family's, my grandma and grandpa house. I know they stay close to where the university is, so they still had our houses. They still had an outhouse, man. I think I was about like 7, 8 years old. And when I came back as a teenager, about 12, 13, I was down there, helped my dad put in the damn, run the plumbing. We put indoor, put bathrooms inside the house. But by that time, our grandparents, they got to, you know, so old that they couldn't really put up a fight about it because they was all right with the outhouse all the years. But my dad was just wasn't gonna have it. Got the boys coming down here. I don't need them to be running out here in the dark. And I remember we put a bathroom in the house. But then that's how the old people was back in them days. They like shit just the way they had it. Been living like that all them years. And I remember my damn grandma and grandpa, they was making noise the whole time we was tearing up the damn floors and running pipe and digging up the yard. They was going nuts. My man Pony says some here off of Winchester down the street. Yeah, I know the property that they own, the university was paying a lease on a big portion of it. They made a lot of money from that, and a lot of they had a lot of wood on the property. I mean, it was just a big. I think it was like over 80 acres. No, 120 acres. I said 80 because I remember when it went into probate, it was 120 acres. And they had it leased out to the university, they had it leased out to the electric company and some other people who was coming out doing the wood shit. Oh, people were just sitting back making money back then. I was really impressed with grandma and grandpa. Big shout out to my man King James in the house. What up, fam? Quinny, you know exactly what I'm talking about too, because it's a Bayless graveyard right over there by one of the big churches to this day. You know, I'm not trying to be buried down in there, but when I go home, I still go by the property and can't help but go by the family church and see the graveyard because that's where grandma and grandpa is. So, yeah, that just brings back memories thinking about that place. You still remember the streets? I wish I could remember the streets because if you're talking about near the university, that's probably where we always hung out at. Let's see. My man Vernon said, my grandma and Uncle Homely finally got a bathroom in the late 70s. I hate those outhouses. Man, you talking about hating them, man. Look, when we used to go down there as kids, they had these damn roosters and shit. You know, I guess we was little hard-headed little boys and so you know, we on the farm just clowning and shit. And one of them that went to messing with one of them roosters, boy, them things right there, man, they wasn't no joke. They come after your ass and be hot on you. And then I remember when I was older, about 13, I was out there messing around with this big ass hog. And it just went mad on me. I mean, he was beating up on the fence. He had just went nuts. And I don't even remember what I did to him to make him trip out like that. But I hated going down there because of that one reason. Some goddamn animals, man, they was crazy. And then they had this damn old ass donkey. The grandpa used to have to pull. They did something where they still had this metal thing that they used to put the donkey on it, and I guess that's how they used to plow the field. You know, when he did the corn shit. And then I remember when Dad bought that tractor down there. You know, wasn't no need for the donkey, but Grandpa didn't want to get rid of the damn donkey, and the donkey was he was just as bad as the big ass hog. And I was like, damn. I couldn't see how that country living. Maybe that's why we just stayed in the city. Because that country living is a whole different type of living for me, man. I'm serious. And then they ain't had no dogs, no outside lighting. Everything was, you know, what you had to have a flashlight and shit. And it seemed like the outhouse you had to go out by the barn, and it was this big ass barn the outhouse sat next to. But on the open part of the barn was where the big ass hog used to be. And he was badder than a fucking dog. You know, he would attack anything. I mean, any and everything. Even at night, you could hear him hit the damn fence. That padded fence, he would be just running into it like he was trying to come through it just because we was out there at the outhouse. You know, I was too young to be scared to go out there. I had to wake up Grandpa talking about, I got to go use the bathroom. he was tired of hearing that shit. You better get your ass up and going out there your damn self. Quit acting scared. Like I took this big ass butcher knife out there and they laughed at me. Said, we're gonna be having bacon in the morning. You come to that damn thing, we're gonna be having bacon in the morning. But I learned not to be scared of them. Let me see who else we got out here. Mr. Bernard Starr said this German Shepherd that was close to the outhouse. Man, if you got too close, he bit you in your ass. I'm telling you, man, that's how I felt like with that damn pig, with the pig thing being right there. You know, everything be just as cool until you be walking. As soon as you go, you know, that door open, you got him out there just bam, bam. I mean, this hog was big. I mean, it was a big ass hog too, man. I can't even remember his or her name. She might have been the sow, but I know she was big as hell. Big shout out to my man Game Dog University. What up, fam? Yo, my man, Mr. John Dembry. John Dembry said they had them foolish goats. Well, I remember the hog. I remember the hogs. They never had no cows. That we had they had an old ass. Well, they actually had a couple horses, but they wouldn't let us mess with the horses because the horses was kind of like wild. They was only, you know, grandma, she could like do this, and they were all the horses would come running to her. But the horses, for some odd reason, didn't like us as kids. You know, they would always tell us stay away from the stable where the horses is, because they ain't too good with people. So we ain't really mess with the horses, even when I was 13 and down there. You know, we couldn't even ride the damn horses because grandpa and them was too old to be tutoring us around. And my dad, he felt like he didn't have no more country in him because he acted like he was scared of the damn horses. You know what I mean? So, when in the hell I'm gonna be messing with something that my dad was scared of. He's like, man, I don't mess with them horses. Now that's two things he said he ain't mess with. He ain't had no problem with the hogs and the roosters and shit, but he did not mess with that damn donkey and them horses. He said the horse bit him one time. Damn, it took off half his ass, and he said he ain't never dealt with him ever since. And I never understood why my grandparents had all them damn animals. Even when they got up in age, I just never understood why they still had them. Every morning, Grandpa would be up 5 o'clock in the morning. He'd be out there tending to them. Actually, he actually died out there in them fields. He was out there a little long, and his grandma said she went to looking for him, and he had a stroke out there in the field. But that's the way they wanted to go. Because I think when we did take our grandmother up out of there, brought her to Ohio, she screamed and hollered the whole way. But she was just too old to be down there by herself. Old folks didn't like change. And now I done got older, I be looking like, damn. I don't think I would have been loving it that damn much. Yeah, Mr. Bernard Starr, yes, they will. Yes, they will. Horse will bite the shit out of you. Remember, I got bit by a horse before one time. And I was in that Romulus raid when I jumped out that window, and I must have startled that horse because he definitely took a chunk of my ass. Thank God I had loose pants on, because if I had them skinny jeans shits on, my ass would have been gone, because he took a good swipe, because when he grabbed me by the ass, he swung his head and tossed me a little bit. I was like scared the shit out of me. Didn't even know he was outside the window though. But that's what you get for running out there. Mr. William Turner said, probably the same reason we had yards, twin. That love. Well, you know what, Mr. Turner? You know, I'm gonna put it like this: the livestock definitely changed, though. You know, that livestock definitely changed, cause man, the roosters and chickens and goats and horses, that man, that's some work. That is some work to maintain. But you know, I can't say if it's harder doing that than dealing with dogs, because dogs alone, that was a hard task anyway. But I guess, you know, seeing grandma and grandpa do that their whole entire life, you know, and they lived to be, you know, in their 80s and 90s, you know, that just that work and being dedicated to every morning. And grandma, she actually fixed, you know, breakfast like she was cooking for a whole damn battalion. Biscuits and all that kind. Man, that Southern living, man, that Alabama Southern living, I respect it, and I was glad that I was introduced to it growing up as a kid. You know, I got a chance to be able to see the difference between that Southern lifestyle and couldn't wait to get back home to a bathroom that I could just walk in the house and just go and use. As a kid, you just never understood that. And then I understand when you know, being older, when my dad just was like, you know, we're gonna put a bathroom up in here. So I remember that kind of shit, you know. I remember even before Grandpa died, I think I was just last time I seen him, I think me and Mo was just coming home from boot camp. And we went down there because he was an army dude. Grandpa was a big army dude too. Oh, Grandpa was so proud and happy and everything. And but yeah, he still want to go out there and get on this damn horse that looked like a big ass Clydesdale, the one he rode. It was so damn big. And never rode that motherfucker before in my life, but I rode with him, you know. And that was the first horse I had ever got on. I ride horses now, but that big ass Clydesdale horse he had, you know, I don't know whatever happened to that horse when Grandpa died, because couldn't nobody deal with that big ass horse but Grandpa and Grandma. So I don't even know. By the time they had the funeral, when we went down there, the horse was gone. So I don't know if Dad was somebody went by and kind of got the livestock or what kind of deal they had going on. But man, I was so glad I didn't have to go deal with none of that shit. Let me see. Now, Vernon, I think you're from North Carolina though, because you down there with horses and all kinds of shit. Because you know, I've been in Carolina. I've been to some of them crazy ass yards they had down there. He said I was riding horses and we was acting a fool trying to bite me. So I got off and I whacked his ass. That motherfucker reared up through a jab and left my ass. I had to walk back to the bar. See, it's that type of shit I be talking about right there. You know, could you really see how big a horse is and them big ass teeth in his mouth? You know, I used to be like worried about, you know, some dogs sometimes, you know, like them big ass Doberman pinchers Mo used to mess with that Apollo and them come from. They looked like big ass Great Danes. I mean, you be kind of wondering if motherfucker, if he wanted to really fuck you up, he would just turn around and just eat your ass alive. And that's how I looked at that horse. Cause that big ass horse and the donkey was no dumb ass either. Donkey would look at you and then turn his back to you and then kick the shit out of the electric fence. Like he wish you would come through that motherfucker. So I big shout out to all my people that live that country life, because I probably would have been all right if I had started out that way. But shit, I was already, you know, city broke at this point in time. Even when Mo hit the farm, I was still wondering how in the hell you way out here in the middle of nowhere. Lions on one end and got all these damn dogs. I was to me, I still lived in the city part. I used to have to drive out there, but shit, he was living out there. So I guess he got a taste of that farm life. He had the big old barn, the big water tower, and all that crazy shit. I guess he liked it, that shit. Ah, man, please. I was so bad, I wouldn't even spend the night out that motherfucker, because I thought if I had to go to the store, I'd be scared to go to the store, because at any point in time, one of them lions or tigers got loose back there, wouldn't have been nothing we could have did about it. Wouldn't have been the damn thing we would have been able to do about it. And just to hear them, the roar, you know, for them to be where they was and hear them, they'd be like, it almost sound like they was right outside the door. That was that country living. So I give a big shout out to all my people out there in that country, because it's a beautiful way to live, boy, but the responsibility is rough. Which brings me to our conversation tonight. And I need y'all help on this, because we all have had it. We have all at some point had to deal with it. You're right. Insane Honey Badger said you don't know nothing about getting chased by a rare bird, man. Gone. Yeah, I dealt with them turkeys and them roosters, you know. And I mean, grandpa and them, they had, I guess roosters have, they be like a pack too, you know, they have you got that one rooster that really damn near run the yard. And grandma had a whip. When he used to get out of control and be chasing us, she would crack that whip and he would stop chasing us. But shit, I was like, shit, damn, a whip, you need a gun, you know? But look, fellas, conversation, and y'all help me out here. Now, for those who deal with black dogs, I would expect y'all to help me a whole lot, because black dogs, when it comes to aftercare, we've all had yard accidents. I mean, if you haven't had a yard accident, you should be able to sit back and grab a pen and a piece of paper, because it's not a matter if it is going to happen. You just got to know what to do when it does happen, because it's for some odd reason that I can remember, I've never met a dog man who didn't have a yard accident. And I think you're doing good if you can say you only have maybe one. But when you have these yard accidents that we know we do have, especially with the black dogs. Now, I'm gonna start with the black dog, because I think the black dog is the hardest dog to fix up when it comes to aftercare, because everything got to be done immediately after the damage is done, and it has to be cared for throughout the whole entire healing process, or you're going to have permanent scars. I remember we used to have black dogs. So understanding that, being that we have black dogs, I think Mo did a pretty good job of hooking them up, because he was almost like a fucking better self. And really, to be honest, to be truthful about it, you really down there have to have some type of vet knowledge and understanding to be really good at aftercare. You know, just being straight up. My man, Mr. Turner said, always was used to the country, and the dog man that lived in the countries was easy. City dog man, I gave the most respect to though. Like Andre Giroux, Sean B, they did it all in apartments. Yeah. Well, I know I can't even say because when we went to Akron, we still had a yard. I think. Yeah, I know we still had a yard. So, but I know them boys up in New York and some of them in Detroit, they kept them dogs inside. And you had to know them boys, and I mean, you had to know that they limited movement with these dogs was very limited. The schedule had to be on point. I mean, I take my hat off to them because I done seen them box 10, you know, I mean, 10 dogs inside of a spot. And every last one of them looked good. And you could walk in there and you couldn't even tell it was 10 dogs being cared for. So yeah, I guess the responsibility is a lot more stricter in the city, but that's one thing. Yeah, I can truly say they yard accident situations wasn't as, you know, wasn't as prevalent because I never really heard of one of them having a yard accident, you know, coming in and two of the dogs and got out the cages or some shit. But I've been on many, many other people's yards with dogs. And that's why, you know, we used to be like real cautious and learn about the damn, you know, the chains rubbing across the ground. Now, how you think we learned about the chains running across the ground after a long time period that the chain link got weak or them popping the chain, you know, and all of a sudden you just think that big ass log chain gonna work. And then all of a sudden one day that motherfucker, you know, you come in and dog off the chain and you see where the link was broke, and then you pick up the damn chain and just look how thin it was. Like, damn. Because you can't really tell, you know, got to examine the chains after a long period of time, especially when you got the ones that's popping them. You know, and on the yard, I know them dogs had big log chains on. And I used to think they was escape artists. I seen one that was so cold with it, y'all, he could work his body around and then work his way out his collar. Like he knew how to pull the collar, come out of the collar, you know, back out the damn collar. Bulldog. It wasn't on our yard though, but it was on one of our friends' yard. And the bad thing about it, he was like the wrong dog to get off the yard because he was like the bully of the yard, just destroying the man's yard. I remember he was telling Mo, you know, man, what can I do? And we actually seen the dog literally how the dog got loose. The dog backs out the damn collar. No matter how tight you put it on him, he will continuously keep doing it and keep doing it. And that son of a bitch, within that next 24 hours, this dog was out of the collar. So I remember, yeah, I remember they did something and Mo put some rivets in another collar and put a lock on the collar. Well, the collar that he could back out of, he didn't have the chain on it. He had the chain on the collar that he had put the rivets in, and that's the collar he was hooked to. So he couldn't back out that collar because he still had his regular collar, which was a big collar, and he wasn't going to pull that little collar through that big collar. So he was always going to be stuck in there, and that broke that habit to where we started doing the same thing. You would go out and you would see our dogs had collars, plus they had locks on them collars. So, but yard accidents, they do happen. And with black dogs, I've seen some scarred up black dogs, and I just be wondering, you know, how do you take care? What do you do? What do you use for a black dog? What's the best way to deal with a black dog that's been inside? You done had a kennel accident with, and y'all seen them. I seen them on Facebook. They be posting them. You know, down by the legs, all chopped up, all across the face, chopped up. Don't know when, who, how, but having having dogs and having black dogs before, I could just imagine what that looks like, you know, on your yard. You know, somebody come by there and swear them down, you're doing something. So you got to be very careful. So that's why I wanted to put that out there, because people still having yard accidents. I just don't. I think there's a better way of dealing with the aftercare and how to prevent those scars from being like that, because I know it's possible because I seen Mo do it plenty of times. I think the only time it didn't work is when Judo damn it chewed off the whole side of Blood's face. You know, that was a part that it was almost like, I mean, he went deep into that. It kind of just never healed right. And he ended up having to do a lot of cutting and stitching, and just to put his face back, the side of his head back together. It was terrible. But it worked. You could just tell it was a deformity there. But as far as all the scratches and all the leg shit, I mean, I've seen him do all kinds of shit. Now, fellas, give me some of the ideals out there while we bullshitting. Some of them ideals of how do you handle the aftercare when it comes to open wounds? Just I don't want to just come in there and just start telling y'all how we did it, because I want to see how you guys did it, get a better understanding of why you did it. Because we did a show on this before. I'm always trying to show you how to do the stitching, the staples, the bandaging, keeping the shit clean, the gauze, even how to drain when they're swelling up. You want to put that little hose in there so it'll drain, and then you wrap it up. And I mean, things you hear me mention are things I used to just sit back and watch him do, because we deal with a lot of aftercare. You know what I'm saying? We did a lot of goddamn aftercare, but he was good at it. And then again, he ran with a damn vet, so she pretty much taught him a lot of shit. But I think it's important to know, like having a microscope. There's certain things you just gotta have when you have these bulldogs, and being able to deal with the aftercare is one of them things you need to have on deck. Because at any given point, any given time, these things do happen, and it's hard to take them to a damn vet, because you got to take 2 dogs, might even be 3 dogs, depending on how bad the damn damage is. So it's always good to know what to do and the proper way of doing it, because this will prevent you from having issues in the future when it comes to these things. See, outside of just the camera being evidence of catching these type of things happen, because again, if you have cameras that these type of things happen on, these are the kind of things that you always want to save just in case you have an issue pertaining to these kind of things. But it's still not going to stop the fact that you still have to have the proper aftercare to put your yard put it back in order, put your dogs back in you know, you know, their normal conditioning, get them back looking right. You don't want to have marked up, scarred up dogs on the yard behind crazy shit. I think it's important to be able to close them up, treat it, clean it, and it does take time. I mean, I remember most of the time when we had dogs that were scarred up due to accidents, those dogs were housed. They weren't back on the chain. They were actually housed inside the barn or actually inside the house, depending on how bad the damage was. But let me see here. See here. Yo, let me see. My man Vernon said, I got a buddy that could heal him right up. Hair grew back and all, but repeated issues and it never heals. Just a gray area. Yeah. I used to say the same thing because blood now, blood, they had a lot of, outside uh, blood was a two-time winner. But I remember the whole schooling thing with them. And I can't remember who was at the taught Mo how to do this shit, but I know James Edwards had a lot to do with that aftercare because I seen him do a number on Solo. He cut her ears off. I mean, he cropped her ears, and they was bleeding. She was bleeding like a pig. Oh, don't worry about it. And he told him exactly what to do. And she had some of the prettiest cut ears that I ever seen on a pit. Well, I mean, she had beautiful cut ears for a pit bull. And because I think she's actually the only pit bull we ever had that had cropped ears. And he was the one who done them. But they were so perfect and they fitted her. They just fit her perfect because she was one of them little stocky tank looking type of bitches with them pretty ass ears. That she was red from her eyes all the way back to her. I mean, she was just red. Beautiful dog though. Tribba old 30. What up, fam? Appreciate you having you here, fam. Big shout out to my man, Mr. William McNeil. Yo, big shout out to the longtime supporter, the one and only Mr. Dickie Foster in the house. What up, fam? Yo, Havoc 360. I see you, fam. Big shout out to my man, Mr. Johnny Rocket in the house. Johnny said that Vernon, what did your buddy use to get the hair to grow back? That'd be a good one. I know y'all familiar with Bag Bomb and Sulfurdine, right? Are you guys familiar with Bag Bomb and Sulfurdine? Because I know that's one of the things that was used. And the other thing was, it was almost like immediate, was cleaning the wounds immediately. I mean, completely cleaning them out. And then I remember he used to pack them with that Bag Bomb and that Sulfurdine. Then he would staple their asses. And then the thing you gotta watch with that is the swelling. You want to, when you got that infection or when it swell up sometimes, I done seen him have where he had to run the tube and tape it up so it had something to drain out from. But the chemicals, it was the cleaning and the addressing the wound, and then staying on top of it on a daily basis. I know the sulfurdine, I think it might have been some sulfur, but I know the sulfurdine for sure. That always helped. I've never seen a dog that got scarred up that he couldn't make the hair grow back going. You know what I'm saying? But the reason I put that out there because I'm just telling you some of the little things that I seen Mo do. But I know I got enough dog men, and we all have had these yard accidents. So outside of the stitching and the stippling and the staples and doing the stitches. Sometimes a lot of guys think about doing stitches because they can't do stitches because they don't know how to do a stitch. That's one thing I could say about Mo. He knew how to do stitches. Now the staples, yeah, some things he could staple together. But I know when he was having to deal with some of them holes where I didn't see him, he had that big pus thing growing under the skin where he had to cut it, and how he used to make that cut, stick that tube up in there for it to drain. And then he didn't staple around it. He would stitch those situations because he was kind of sure that the dog couldn't lick it. See, that's where we had them big collars on them because they couldn't lick or do anything when you're dealing with the wounds. So it's a lot of shit that, outside of having them big ass, them collars that prevented them from licking on it or pulling the shit off. And then by restricting their movement, not being out on the chain and being in one of the pens, that kept them from moving around much. Yeah. You see here, I got some people out here throwing some shit. Peroxide, hemorrhoid ointment, Dex antibiotic, the blue stuff. If it's a non-stitch situation, then coconut oil and spread it out 3 days, 3-day bath, then repeat the process on the 3rd day, then wait. Okay, insane. I hear you. I use head and tail and legit herbal shampoo. Great recipe. I don't know about the herbal shampoo, but I know about the head and tail. The head and tail did wonders for all the dogs. I know he was using that back there when we were doing the Dobermans. That's why they had such pretty coats. My man Johnny Boy, what up? What up, Johnny Boy? What up, fam? Johnny Boy said I mix big spag bomb and new stock and a little bit of old oil to make the hair grow back. Now that's a good one. That's a good one because back in the day, I know with them blood and BA with blood and BA because there was and Ratchet because Ratchet was them were the 3 black dogs I think we ever had. Little Bosco, he wasn't all the way black. He was black and white. But yeah, I heard that. But I thought they was using the old oil on dogs like they had mange or some shit like that. But I don't think I remembered him actually putting it on any one of them. I remember him treating somebody else's dog. There was a black dog that had something like mange, and he used the oil and some other shit to treat it. But mange is different than when you was dealing with cuts. And I know he treated each cut. Now, I don't know if I know anytime that he dealt with a cut, he went through the process of shaving it back, you know. Now, how many of y'all do you guys agree that anytime you're dealing with a cut that you have to staple or stitch, do you cut the hair back and to deal strictly with the cut? Just give me a yes or no, because that's something I know he did on a religious basis. Cause I never seen him just push the hair. I always seen him cut open the space around where he was working, and then he did his work. Big shout out to PDK out there. What up, fam? He said, peace to the chat. Peace to the chat and the twins. They got the tape stitch stuff now. Yeah. Cause I know when I had my surgery, they did not stitch me up. They put this damn it was a tape. It was actually like a tape, but they told me don't pull it off, don't do anything. As it's healing, it will fall off by itself. And I was kind of tripping because I'm like, this, cut me open and shit. And then I see these big ass this tape thing, and it was clear as hell. But they made clear, you do not pull this off. This will come off by itself. And when it did, by the time it finally came off a week later, you couldn't even tell I was even cut in places where they cut me at. So they got some shit out there. Now my cuts wasn't as big as Mo cuts because Mo had 9 stitches in his surgery, so I knew they weren't going to be taping up shit on his ass. I mean, no tape, nothing. He had stitches. Yeah, I know the marks is going to be there. Big shout out to my man Terrence. What up, fam? Now to me, black dogs are really the hardest things. They're hard. If you can master a black dog, as far as the treating and letting the hair grow back, helping the hair grow back to where it is not as noticeable. Well, because Blood and BA and like BA, he had dogs like they used to bite him in the face. He used to fight around the face a lot. So his face was kind of like scarred up, but in say 3 to 4 weeks, you couldn't even tell. The hair, everything would go back over his face, and I'd be like, damn. Now, then I see other people, and I see a black dog, and I'd be seeing all those scars, and like, damn, all on the legs and across the chest. And I know there's a way to deal with that, but does it have something to do with the dog's skin or something? Because I've seen Mo able to pull that off. I've seen it because these are black dogs that I know we had. So not speaking for nobody else outside the yard, these are things that I actually seen over the years that we had them dogs, and they were beautiful dogs that had a lot of work time up underneath them. So I just like to know what works. What do y'all think works? Because everybody's asking. Twin, we need to do a show on aftercare, but it's so much to aftercare that if you gotta first have some type of knowledge of what you're doing when it comes to that type of shit. No, I'm still stuck on the first lesson we gave. Would break out the stitches, break out the staple, break out the scalpel, break out the clippers, cut that shit back, get the bag bomb, get the Banadine, get the sulfurdine, the bag bomb. What was something else that he used? That he used to clean them up first. I mean, he scrubbed the shit out of a wound. You know, and I can kind of understand, cleaning out a wound because I done had pretty enough cuts in my life doing the job that I do, dealing with metal and on the construction site. You can easily get cut, sliced open. And I remember how they used to go and immediately wanting to give you a tetanus shot, and you seeing your goddamn meat laid open, and they down in there scrubbing shit out. Bacteria, well, fuck, shit won't heal right. And that made sense to me. My man John Denbury. I haven't got familiar with the glue yet, John. I think who was that used the glue? Yeah, I've seen glue used before on humans. I just can't remember if it was one of my kids that had a cut and they put this glue and they penciled together and they put these funny kind of band-aids on it. They look like, they're supposed to keep it pulled together. And they say just give it 2 weeks and it'll heal. And in 2 weeks, that shit healed right up. But I don't know if it do with dogs because, dogs, they have a tendency of, with the glue, would it work on a dog the same way it works on a human? I know humans use it, but I've never heard of the glue move on the dog. The staple move and the stitches, but I ain't seen that glue one work yet. I mean, I ain't been around to see it, but I didn't know I knew they had glue for human beings. I just didn't know they had it. Does it work for the dogs? Big shout out to Jenny Johnson. Welcome to the Shark Tank fam. Said, old oil works well. Used it back in the day. The sulfur created from the combustion in the engine. Years later, we started using sulfur 8. Yeah, you see, there you go. Sulfur 8, and I know maybe I'm calling it sulfurdine. I might be wrong, but sulfur was the key back then. PDK says sulfur products make that hair grow back too. Yeah. Yeah. Now, the reason I used to see me sticking to black dogs because those are the ones that unlike the buckskins and Judo, he was brindle, I seen them get patched up. You couldn't even tell that they had ever been in the scrap. I could say that same thing about even the red brindle ones because we had them. But I remember being in Carolina around a lot of them black dogs, boy, they always looked to scarred the fuck up. I mean, badly scarred up, kind of. You'd be like, damn, this motherfucker right here been in some wars. But Mo always said he wasn't going to let BA and blood be like that, And I think I don't know. Mo had this doctor's dog book. And I did tell you he worked with the vet. Remember, he had them IV machines, so yeah, he knew how to do all that shit. So he could tell you a whole lot about that aftercare. But before you get into, I wanted to get into this. open the gates up because I wanted to see how other people actually deal with a lot of this shit. Big shout out to my man Sabri. What up, fam? He said, Mike, what's good, bro? A little late. Had to fulfill my obligations during this blessed month of Ramadan. I feel you, fam. Salute to the panel in the chat. Thank you, sir. Mr. Burnstar said, we use glue on cuts and boxing. Yeah, like, I feel you insane because, you know, the Vaseline, you know, now, Vaseline. There was something about Vaseline. I can't remember, but Mo was he was more of a bag bomb person than a Vaseline person. He lived by, I mean, I still live by that bag bomb to this day. Because they said it was good for humans, and I knew I learned the bag bomb from him. He had a bag bomb sulfurdine mixture. I remember that mixture, he had it always in the barn, and when shit went wrong, you know, clean them up, scrub it out, pack it, staple it, or stitch it. Big shout out to you, Mr. God Ghostin, coming in, showing that love with a 10-piece. I see you, fam. You say, guys say, like my best. PBK say, some gonna like it, some gonna hate. But may the truth be told, and it works if you get the lesson and understanding. This is true. This is true. Oh, we got going hard in the house. Oh, your mic must be broke. Your thing must not be working. He said, betadine scrub. Yeah, okay. I knew the scrub. Got to have the betadine. Scrub it good, down to the flesh. Mix bag balm and sulfurdine to pack the wound. Yeah. Then staple the cut, leaving the top and the bottom end open for drainage. Okay. Now, being that you put that out there, Mo, because I know that's you using my name. But hey, all right, okay. Yeah, I hear everything. But how do you cut, like when you address them cuts, how far back do you shave the open, you know, go do that part, you know?
You shave it all the way around the cut. So what you're doing is you're shaving all the hair around the cut. So the good fresh hair that's around the cut, when you go to stitch it up, you got all that new growth just of hair that you didn't cut off. So when you sew that cut up and you leave that top and bottom, it gives you access to be able to take your syringe of Vanadine and squirt down into the top and squirt into the bottom of the cut. That Vanadine going to keep it clean. And you don't have all that, you don't get that dead skin don't die on you. You know? And if you keep using the bag balm, because the bag balm and the sulfurdine is going to heal from the inside up. You don't want it to heal from the outside in, because then it starts scabbing up. And all you're doing is hitting the outside, but you're leaving, the cut inside is not going to ever close. You want it to heal from the inside out. So even with the stitches, you want to be able to shoot the Vanadine down in there. And, and if it has a little swelling to it, I would even shoot some penicillin G down in there. And then once I did that, I would take and clean the whole outside again with the Banadine scrub, the soapy one. Scrub the stitches because I don't want it to scab up around my staples. If I got stitches, I don't want it to scab up around my stitches. So you want to keep all that clean because you don't want it to clot up because see, then it's trying to clot up on the top, and you don't get the proper healing from inside. You know what I'm saying? So once you should take care of the inside, now you work on the outside. You want to clean those staples, those stitches. You want to clean all that up, get all that crust and all the the old blood is trying to clot up, coagulate. Keep all that cleaned off, and then put the bag balm and the sulfidine right over the outside of those stitches or staples. You want to keep that on there. You want to do that every day. I say you do it just like you would do your wound. Sometimes you would have to do it twice a day, depending on the severity. You want to keep it nice, open, and fresh. Then you don't start getting dead skin. See, if you just staple it up and leave it, you'll start noticing those pieces of the ones in between the staples. The skin starts dying, and then you start losing your hold to your staples, and you wondering why, because that little piece that you're trying to put together, the skin is dying because you're not treating the inside. When you don't treat the inside, that's why the skin above it starts dying off, and your staples start coming loose. You know what I'm saying? But you want to make sure that you constantly treat the inside of those staples. That's why you leave that little space there. You take your syringe, shoot some Banadine down in there. That's going to kill all the infection. You ain't going to have no dead skin. Don't even hurt to take a little penicillin G and squirt down there. You didn't hear me say any other penicillin. You heard me say take the penicillin G and squirt a little bit down into your wound, because you want it to heal from inside out. And the other thing about it, by the time those stitches start getting ready to come out, what you're going to notice around that whole area that you cut, you're going to start noticing hair growth. Okay, as the hair starts growing back, this is the whole reason why you kept putting the sulfidine not only on the on the staples. And remember how I said always keep it fresh. That means don't never let it scab up. So as that hair starts closing in, where you shaved that, by the time it starts closing in, you got that. By the time those staples start coming out, when you take those staples out, guess what? That bag balm is going to keep that skin nice and soft. The sulfidine is going to generate the hair growth that's already growing back on the areas that you shaved. And you'll notice that hair will grow all the way back right there before you get to that cut. You'll start seeing that hair grow, but you're going to start seeing hair growth around the area that was stapled. You know what I'm saying? And the last thing you're going to start seeing close up, the last piece you're going to start seeing close up is going to be that top part where you was shooting your Banadine in, and that bottom part. And what you start doing there is just take a little scoop of your bag balm and sulfidine and just like dab it, like take your finger and just dab the hole. Don't let it scab up. Keep them open and just keep dabbing with the bag balm sulfidine. Dab them on the top, dab it on the bottom. That whole thing will close right up and you won't see a scar. It'll literally cover over the scar because of the hair growth. You didn't have no dead skin around the wound. Okay, if it was a little wound, I take the smallest wound and treat it like it was a big wound. But you want to do that. I wouldn't care how many if they have staples or stitches, this is something that you did at least twice a day. For the swelling, Dex. I can tell you now, there was times where you had those those jelly balls where they would pick up fluid inside. You already know if you got a dog that been bit in the chest, and he's got he got that skin hanging, you're gonna get fluid. You're gonna have that separation between the two skin layers. And what happens is that damage, it starts producing fluid. And as it swells, that fluid starts filling in like a pocket. And if you leave it there, it starts getting hard and you get that knot. And for guys to get that knot, some people don't like it. But I worked on people's dogs that come there with that big ass knot on the jaw or on their chest. And they like, twin, what do you do with that? Well, what I would do is I would cut it on the top and the bottom. And I would take me some forceps and stick it right up in there where that knot is. Because you didn't let all that fluid build up. Now you got scar tissue on it. You have to go up in there and like literally grab that knot in your hand and go up in there where you cut it, top and bottom, and start stabbing that ball. Start breaking it down. You're gonna see all that stuff coming out. You're gonna see a lot of it. You just keep stabbing it. Yes, you have to break all that because that's all dead meat. That's all dead meat. Dead meat is holding infection. You want to stab it all the way down to it's not even there. You'll know when it's not even there because you'll feel it and it's not going to be hard no more. You want to just keep poking and poking, top and bottom, until you don't even feel it. You're breaking it all up. And that's when you take the straw or the tube, IV tube, and put it right there where you were sticking your forceps through the top and the bottom. Push it up from the bottom, reach down on the top, go all the way down into the cut because that big ball ain't gonna be there no more, and pull that tube right on up there to the top. Leave yourself enough room to get the drainage, but before you pull it up, cut little notches. Cut like 3 little notches up inside there where you want where that tube got holes in it, right there in the center. Where when you poured it through, it's going to be right there in the center of where that knot was, because that drainage is going to come back. But what you have to do is you got to be able to take your syringe every day, maybe twice a day, and take it and just squeeze it right down into that tube. Keep squeezing it right down in that tube. Keep squishing it every day. Keep squishing it until that loose skin is not loose anymore. Once you start seeing that the loose skin is starting to shrink up, you're going to start noticing the drainage and the swelling is going to dissipate because you're using Banadine to squirt down in there. You're using that penicillin G. You're not leaving that stuff there to grow under the skin. You just got to keep it pushing it, keep going in there with your forceps, keep it open. As long as you got that loose skin there, you want to go up in there right there because you already got your tube there. You set your tube there, squirt your Banadine in there, top and bottom, you got cleaner in there. Squish it, push all that shit out of there through the tubes. You're going to see all kind of stuff coming out through the hole, through the tube. You're going to clean all that stuff up because you're not going to have, what you're doing is not letting the dead meat under there become dead meat or dead flesh. So all you're doing is just cleaning out the wound so you don't have that dead flesh up under there. New stock is definitely a good thing to use for cuts. New stock is something that you guys got something that, and it's almost like bag balm and sulfurdine. If you smell it, it's got a sulfur smell to it. And if you notice, using it correctly, you know what I'm saying? It heals up scars just as well. And it promotes hair growth. So new stock is just something almost like bag balm and sulfurdine. Bag balm is used for cows to keep their titties from being hard. If people don't know that. Bag balm keeps the skin soft. It don't let it, get calcium or scabby or be from constant them sticking them tubes on. And it works real good, for us taking care of animals that, get into those little accidents. And, because once a dog gets loose, if you're not home, you know what kind of mess you can run into when you get home. And thank God you might have one that might have got murked during the night, but the one that didn't, he's tore up. Or those ones that you got to get off the chain and save their life, those that require, emergency attention where you have to use IVs and certain kind of antibiotics to put on them. And again, we're talking about wound cleaning. All these animals that have these accidents has to be on some type of antibiotic. Yes, I used the penicillin G, but I only use the penicillin G to squirt to the wound itself. Other than that, amoxicillin and cephalexin, only on around the mouth. You want to give them cephalexin. Why the mouth? Because if you notice when you go to the dentist, you get an abscess. What do they give you before they pull your tooth? They give you cephalexin. And do the same things, cephalexin is good around facial areas around the muzzle where the dog is, got cuts all in his muzzle and things like that. Still must be treated the same way as everything else. You got to still treat it, clean the wound, keep it clean, keep it open, don't let it scab up, all those things like that. So if anybody, if you're catching what I'm saying, let me know you hear me. Let me see what my dog is barking about right quick.
Big shout out to my man Cosman Cal in the house. What up, fam? Hey, that new stock, yeah, it is the shit, though. Big shout out to my man in the woods. What up, fam? Big shout out to my man talking to City Kennels in the house. What up, bam? My man Sabri says only knock on new stock is the hair grows back gray, white with new skin. The hair grows back its original color. And I don't know about the new stock, but I heard a lot of people, speak of it. In the wood, now we talk about aftercare. When we had these yard accidents, sometimes you gotta be able to know what to do, because you don't want to be out there having scarred up dogs on the yard. And I like to have, it is possible for dogs not to be looking scarred up if you take care of the aftercare. It's important. The aftercare is so important because you don't want, and I started out with black dogs because to me, black dogs were victims of, the lack of aftercare when you see them, and you could damn near see every bite mark that ever been on their ass. And I always felt like, we had black dogs, and I know we used to do the shit out of them. And Mo could always get them to come back where you couldn't see, they didn't look like that. So I always felt like that was this lack of aftercare. And that type of shit, Mo, that's another one of the things he was aiming about, and that was the aftercare. So somebody had brought it up, and I figured, hell, why not talk about it? Shit. Because we got a lot of, a lot of people do a lot of different things. I'm just saying, that's why we're having this conversation, so we can share this information. My man Sabir, I feel you, fam. He said, Mike, this is the link to New Skin Med. You know, I don't know why. Let me see. Because I can't copy that, because I sure enough would pull it up, fam. Just to go in and see what you're talking about, but there's so much of that link, I would have to write all that down. And let me see if I could pull that off right quick. See if I go into YouTube and see if I can see if it's got a link attached to it. Let's see here. I'm going to the chat. Yeah, see, I can go into the link from here, but I can't do it from where I'm at. Let me try this another way. Hey, Mo, you there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go and try to get this link pulled up, so you could take over while I'm doing this right quick, because I'm gonna pull up this link right quick here.
Well,
hey, what you know about new stock, Mo? I never.
I've used. That's what I was saying. I use new stock. That's the new bag bound sulfurdine substitution. Yeah, you use new stock the same way you use the bag bomb. You know, like I said, you can smell new stock. You smell new stock, it smells like it has sulfur in it. That's the shit in the mineral oil. That's the stuff that you got to always squish on the tube and mix it up. If you don't keep it mixed up, it gets hard. You know? Yeah. Yeah, William Turner IVs, I use them only in dire need. Dire need, because you want to hydrate your animal. You know, the best thing to do is give them a nice warm bath, clean them up real good, do all that work with them, and then turn around and give them. I always use stress decks, that electrolyte. Give them that with a little honey in it. Give them a deck shot, Banamine shot for the pain, and put them up. Let them sleep. But you know, most of the time you're using that, you're doing a lot of cleaning and closing up. Some dogs has been in a bad situation and got the bad end of the deal on that, you know, because they didn't get off the chain and got worked over a little bit, where their life is in danger. Yes, it would be wise to immediately, because the dog is not moving, his dog is down. The best thing to do is connect them to IV, because a lot of that has to do with loss of blood. So yes, and in them extreme cases where you got one down like that, it is wise to put them on the back. Chaos, shut up. You want to put the bag on them, you know, put that IV bag on them, because you know they're not going to be moving around too much. You know, that's the first thing you want to do. And the first thing I do is, when I see one in bad shape like that, the first thing I do is shave off where I want to put my IV at. And I put my butterfly there, tape it off, right off the back. And then I start cleaning them up. And let that bag run while I'm cleaning them up. And I put a little bit of Banamine in there along with it. Right along with the IV. You don't know your dosage, don't do it. You don't know how to use Banamine with the IV, don't do it. Learn what you do when you start poking and adding things to a bag. Because if you do it the wrong way, you can kill the dog. But these are situations that, you know, you have to learn when you know that these dogs get loose like any other dog. You wouldn't not believe the calls that I would get where guys was bringing their dogs to me because they was too scared to go to the vet. And I ain't no vet, but they don't want to lose their dog, you know? So you got to do what you can for them because I felt their pain, you know? They didn't want to lose him. And if there was any way of saving him, you know, there was a way to save him. But they had to be able to do the things that they see me do. They got to take the dog home and be willing to do those things. You know, I would give them all the antibiotics and stuff that they would need and all the things that they needed to do and just get a dog 72 hours. Got to give them 72 hours, they'll be all right. You know, 72 hours, they live, make it 72 hours, they're going to be okay. Yeah, you got to store the IV bags, and if you don't use them, you know, you gotta have an expiration date. But if you store them correctly, you know, and the best way to store them is store them in a refrigerated area, not a frozen area, but a refrigerated area. And then let them come to room temperature when you hang them out. You know, that does prolong the expiration of them, where it doesn't expirate too fast. You know? One thing you don't do, you don't put them back on the chain.
Here you go. This is what I think my man Sabri, he put up. Y'all can see that. It's that new skin.
Oh, it's like a liquid bandage. It's an adhesive bandage. It's almost like the glue. That's what it is. I don't like, me personally, again, anytime you got an open wound, there's a disconnection between the flesh and the muscle. You go to closing the flesh without giving the flesh a chance to heal back to the muscle, then you're going to have a space there. It is going to always get opened up. You know, for small cuts, yeah, and not even with small cuts, you can look down there and see that fatty, and you can literally take your forceps and go up under that skin on both sides or all the way around it. It's been separated. So I don't think it's a wise thing to use when it's been separated, because you're not going to get the inner healing to get that skin back down there where all of it comes back together. What you're doing is just closing up the outer part of the wound. And if it's open wide, that's not going to do much good. You know, I always believe in staples and leaving those ends open where you can constantly keep shooting stuff down through there until you get where you know the separation ain't there no more. You'll know when those stitches ready to come out, you'll see that the separation ain't there no more. You got healing from the inside up to the staples. That means that healing has made this connection between the two layers of skin that gets separated and, you know, the actual muscle, or that, you know, that area where the muscle was exposed and that skin has came apart, you know. Just like when they cut us open, you know, we have two layers of skin in our body. Once you get to that, then you can get down there to where the organs are.
Hey Mo, my man Terrence said, what y'all call bag bomb?
Bag bomb is you get the little green can in any drugstore. It's called bag bomb. It's a green can. It's called bag bomb. You know, I always say this: for what it takes to fix a dog up, based on a dog getting off the chain, it is more valuable for you to make sure that your dog don't get off the chain. We know shit happens, but shit happens because you can't look at your yard and see a dog getting off the chain. Then that means you're not checking your shit when a dog do get off the chain. You're going to find out why that dog got off the chain. And you know, this is where you're going to find out where you wasn't on your shit, period. Yeah, we know shit happened, but shit happens because a lot of that shit happens because of mistakes. A mistake was made that you didn't check that chain. You didn't check that ring. You didn't check between those links on that chain and seeing that those links were getting thin. You know, it looks all fat when you're looking at it, but if you go and pull those links up and start looking at those links, you're going to see those links is the first place that those chains get wore down at, right there in the links. So if you don't want to have those accidents, you know, that's one thing you must have if you got dogs on the chain. Dogs in cages, y'all have a worse problem. You know, because, you know, in my world back then, I didn't have dogs that I could throw in the kennel next to each other and they could live harmoniously together. No, we had to have separations and all kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? Making sure tops and everything was on, because the last thing you want to do is have an accident where the dog didn't chew through the fence and got into the cage with another dog, or they have bumped through the chain link or the fence and maybe got the paw or grabbed something or something like that, and you have a real terrible mess. Dog can't protect himself because his head is still inside the pen, but the dog on the other side got a leg and he ain't letting it go. And there ain't nothing this other dog can do about it. See? That's the bad thing. See, that's how Baby came back to me, you know, after an accident with Jamie. You know, her leg was chewed. Damn, it could have gotten amputated, but it was in such bad condition. You know, he didn't ever get it amputated, but it came back where you could always see her muscle. You know, the skin never went back over it. And as soon as I got her, I took her right over to my vet and had him documented. This is how I got her back. I didn't do it. No. He had a rabies vaccination. I took that over to the vet, took her over there, and I just told him, look, I'm going to put this dog back on my yard. He looked at the wound. There wasn't much we could do with it. You know, it had been healed, and that's the way it healed. And he took pictures of it, and he had it documented and put with her file. So if anybody ever came to my yard and wanted to discuss what happened to her, go talk to my vet. Because that was the first thing I did when I got her back. And, you know, went up and brought her back. I took her over to my vet. Made sure he documented so nobody would have no reason to be like, it looks so bad. Look at, oh, well, guess what? Go talk to the vet. But one of the most important thing is a lot of mistakes with dogs getting off. I learned my lesson. See, Mama used to get off the chain, and I could never figure out how she was getting off the chain. You know, and I started noticing those links. They look thick in certain areas, but you got to inspect that whole chain. And the same thing with them rings that we put around those axles. Those rings around them axles, them links get weak. You know, I've seen guys put double rings on the dog's collar. You know, don't put nothing but a ring and a swivel and put the dog on that. But forget about the ring that you got sitting down on the axle. Now, yeah, you got a swivel up there on the collar, but look back down there on the axle. Look at that ring. Look at the ring that you got on the axle, and then where you got the chain that's connected to the ring. Look at that area right there. You're going to see a lot of wear in that area right there. That's where they break the chain on guys who put their dogs on those axles. They don't do it up around that collar, around that swivel. You're going to find wear and tear there too. You'll find wear and tear there right there at the swivel, regardless of how thick you get that swivel. That swivel is still going to start wearing out. You know that little ball down, you know that little rod down there that brings them swivels together? After a while, with all that twisting on that ring, that hole starts getting bigger. You know? There's no way you're going to put a chain set up and stick it out there and go years without changing your chains or making adjustments to your chains or replacing your chains and putting new swivels on them. Especially if you raised in a yard, you're going to have to change those chains. And if you got a good dog and you don't want nothing to happen to it, you know what I'm saying? This is things that you have to do. You know, I've learned my lesson. I lost that mechanic bitch to Baby, and I thought I had all that shit under control. Yet that bitch was still able to get off. She didn't run. She didn't get away off the chain. She got off on the swivel. The swivel is how she got off. The ring had got the hole had got so worn that the actual middle piece popped through off the chain. So all she carried was part of the swivel along with the collar, right along with her. And that's how she got out the chain and ran into Baby and lost her life. So, them swivels, you got to watch that shit. Yeah, right where that boat is. Sibir, he knows right where I'm talking about. You know, and it's a bad thing, but you gotta, you just cannot be lax. There's so many things that you have to be willing to do. And, to make sure that you don't have to go through those routines of having to take care of a dog due to him getting off the chain. And like I said, I'd rather have a dog get off the chain and have my camera catch it on camera to be able to go and download that on a damn disc and save it. Put it up. Because if I ever have a problem, I can always go back and get that disc. And so why does dog look like it look? And it don't look as bad because you're going to see the aftercare. It's just the fact that this is what happened. That's the good thing about having that camera. I mean, you might think that, if you're doing something wrong and you ain't got no business doing, then you need to have that shit off your camera, period. So there shouldn't be no reason why you should be left. If you got a recording of anything that you doing and you ain't got no business doing, then there's no reason why it should still be in your security system. And those are just things that, just being honest to those who need to hear me say that. Can't say who's doing it or what. I'm just telling you, if you are having dogs on your yard and you have a security system, be smart. Know when to save and know when to delete. Things happen. Sometimes, you might have to knock the shit out of that damn dog. You know what I mean? Dog bites you. Hey, you don't save that moment because you had to knock that dog ass out. You go get rid of that shit off your camera because everybody's not going to understand why you had to take that shovel and knock the shit out of that damn dog after attacking you. or having to punch that motherfucker in his goddamn head, and next thing you know, he laying on the side. Things like that, you know, these are things that you don't want just sitting out there on your security system. You know, just some things that you want to remember. Everything pertaining to your camera is security. And as long as you understand that and respect that, then you know how to handle that. I shouldn't have to go in here teaching some grown men what that means. It's your security, regardless of what you're doing. Treat it like this is what's supposed to keep you safe by all means, in any means necessary. You know what I mean? Yeah, cheap collars, man. I used to put 2 collars on dogs like Brat and Mama and Little Mayday. And, you know, back then, at Little Mayday, all those dogs had double collars. And I had double rings on my swivels. I had them on my chain, on my axles too. Because these were the kind of dogs you did not want to see get off the chain at all. If you had those kind of dogs on the yard, you know, I didn't have a lot of yard accidents, but I had one major one. That was the mechanic bitch running in the baby. And then before I moved out on the farm, Brat got off the chain, went through the whole yard, passed the whole yard just to get to Mama. Thank God I was home. And then Mama did it to Brat. You know, and each time that they did it, it was due to a weak link on the chain. Well, the chain looked nice and healthy, but when you grab the chain and start going down the chain and you go look at the part that got broke, look how skinny the link was. It was right there at the break was where you noticed this is how the dog got off. The 2 links have been rubbing so much and being ground down through the dirt, the back and forth that it wore links down, and by them constantly popping the chain, made it weak till one day it popped. It happened to Brat and it happened to Mama. I started checking chains. I started replacing chains. You know, and that's probably one of the reasons why a lot of the animal control pushed in your county to get those dogs off those chains, because people was not staying on top of the dogs and the chains that they were on as far as being secured. And they were having a lot of accidents, yard accidents, due to dogs out on the chain. So we make them take the dogs off the chain and start putting them in cages. You know, and they would push for that. And a lot of counties around the country don't want your dog on no chain no more. And that was one of the reasons why. Because the chain was not secure enough. It had nothing to do with the big heavy log chain. Hey, the big heavy log chain was the only thing you want to keep on your dog to make sure he didn't get off. You can't get mad at me about that, because this dog looks nice and healthy. Don't look like he got any back problems or any leg problems or any of that. So it ain't the big heavy dog chain that's the problem. That was not the problem. Too many dogs was getting off the chain. They were having too many problems. Most of the time, dog get off the chain. You got a dog fight going on in the backyard. Animal control's called. You're not home. They going into the backyard, having to put 2 dogs down because they're back there in the yard fighting. Yes, when they go to your house and you ain't home and there's dog back there fighting, guess they're going to go into your yard. Ain't nothing you can say about that. If a neighbor hear dog fighting, they're going to call the people. The people's going to come. There's going to be issues on your yard. That's all. So that's why a lot of these counties has made people take them off the chain. And now when you put them in those cages, you know, you got to remember this too. Those cages is not an all full answer. I could buy me a good cage. And if I got a dog that's biting on a cage and I see the first thing on my cage is bent from a dog biting on my cage, I'm putting chicken wire right wherever, all around that dog area. Because if you start biting and I start going out there and your teeth is going through that wire and you bending on my chicken wire, then you best believe there's going to be, fuck that chicken wire, I'm putting a stronger wire, muscle wire around that dog's cage in the areas that I'm noticing he's going to be biting on. And that's going to be that whole lower. If I got to do it all the way around, including the door, I'm reinforcing my cage. Because all it takes, dog got all day to be smart. And dogs will bite their way. They will find any weak link or anything inside that cage to get out.
Hey Mo, you remember we had one that the reason why we had to start putting tops on the pins. Remember? I don't remember which dog it was that climbed up and jumped down in the other pin.
Yeah.
And start scrapping.
Yep. He got he climbed the fence. He climbed the fence and I had a top on it. The problem was I didn't have it wired down in the middle. And he climbed up the fence and was able to push the fence up enough to get between it and climb over into the other pen. You know, so it's more than just putting a top over it, some, you know, a top over it. You got to lock that mug down, especially right there in the separator areas all the way around. The back, the front, the side. You gotta lock all that down because that dog will push that shit up. Once they get their feet in that wall and they get to climbing up, they'll push on that top until they push it up enough to get their head up in there. Once they get their head up in there, they're gonna get their body over that fence.
Yeah, we've had some Houdinis on the yard.
Yes, that's true. Preventive maintenance. Yes, you have to look. If you got dogs on the chain, you have to look. These are all the things that'll keep you from having them unnecessary accidents. You know, and a lot of guys just, you know, when you work in a yard and you got a yard of dogs, whether it's 4, 5, or 6 dogs, that's still a yard of dogs. You have to pay attention for your safety, not just the dog's safety, because if the dog ain't safe, you ain't safe. That's the bottom line. It's more about you being safe than your dog. So you got to make sure the dog is safe so you can stay safe. Because usually bad things happen when you ain't around. You know what I mean? Samir said, Mo, that's why I put plywood around the bottom side of my kennels in the yard. 1.5 inch, right? And you want to put it, you don't put it on the inside, you put it on the outside because he'll sit there and be chewing on that mug. I'm putting mine in this right there along the outside. On the outside of where they can't chew. And when it comes to my divider, I would put a piece of 1.5 on my divider, and I would put screws in them. I put a whole piece in the one cage, and put a whole piece in the other cage, and use screws to bolt them together. You know, I wouldn't just separate them with just one. I'd put one in one cage and go on the other side and put the other in there, and then run me screws right through there, right there around the poles to make sure. And if I caught one scratching or chewing on it, I'd get me some apple cider vinegar and take me one of those spray bottles and soak it. Soak that whole piece of wood. You want to stop a dog from biting on wood? Get you some apple cider vinegar, put it in a spray bottle, and spray the hell out of it. They can't stand that apple cider vinegar taste. That's how you stop them from chewing on wood. All my Backstreet True stuff would fly over a pen, springs in their legs. Yeah, they'll jump up there. You got them athletes that'll jump up there and bounce off them down cages all day long. You'll see them going up there, bouncing off the down top of the cage, smashing their heads into the top of the cage, seeing if they can get it to peel up somewhere, find a weak spot where they feel like it can move, and they'll sit there and work on that spot. You know? Because if they want to get out, they're going to try. They got all day to do that. They ain't got nothing else to do. Sometimes you got to take those dogs there. And when you're doing the right thing, you know, when you're doing the right thing, well, you know, the problem in today's world is they sell treadmills all on the internet. But for some odd reason, because you have a pit bull, you know, to have a treadmill is a device for doing something illegal. To have a cat meal is to be doing something illegal. Well, it's up to you to know the law, first of all, because if a German Shepherd can go out there and run a treadmill, there's no damn reason why my dog can't, because he's a pit bull. But I need my treadmill, because one thing about dogs and dog training, aggressive dog that's being worked a lot and being tired out is not as aggressive as you think he is if you work him and give him something to blow that energy. If you got a dog that got a lot of energy, you got to get rid of that energy. You can't just leave him in the cage and let him exert all his energy in the cage or on a chain. You got to give him that time to get that, knock off that edge, put his ass up tired, get him used to being tired. That's how you train him and calm his ass down. You don't got you'll get to a point where you'll see that your dog ain't as crazy if this is what you're working him to do. I used to work them until they was drop dead tired, and then I put them back out there in their cage. I know I ain't got to worry about him for the next day or two. You know what I'm saying?
Let me give a big shout out to my man, Horsepower. What up, fam? John Noel. What up, fam? What else I got here?
Remember, guys, I said I was gonna get one of these days. I'm gonna get on there and show y'all how to measure your medicine. You know, your per pounds and your milligrams of this and 50 milligrams per pound and all that shit. There's a formula to that, and I want to get around to showing you those little things like that. You know, like we went over some things today, but there's a little bit more in depth and a lot of the stuff that we're speaking on, because you got to know the amount of medicine to give your animal. And for those guys who don't weigh your animals on a frequent basis and just be guessing what their weight is, that's lazy. I guarantee you, if you ain't got enough, if you so lazy that you won't take off your dog and keep a record of his weight, then I can guarantee you there's a whole lot of other shit that you ain't doing too. You know what I'm saying? Believe that. If you don't take the time to know every one of your dog's weight on the yard in case you need to give that dog some medicine and you want to just do it on a guess, then I can guarantee you that's being lazy. And I can guarantee you that ain't the only thing you being lazy about either. You know what I'm saying? You got to hear me. I ain't talking about you, but I'm telling you, I know what I'm talking about. You got to take them extra steps, people. You got to take the extra steps. Like I said with the microscope, your dog looking skinny, what do? You go get the worm medicine, start shooting him up with shit. You don't know what kind of worm he got, just start giving him shit. They don't even know the damn dog's weight, you assuming. So there's no way in the hell You're gonna tell me, that you did it the right way if you don't even know where you the right way is you would know what his weight was and gave him exactly what he's supposed to get. And how would you know his weight? I can look at a dog and tell you how much you weigh. I can tell you can get it right 9 times out of 10. But it's that one time you don't get it right is what I'm talking about. If you have the goddamn scale there to go weigh your dog, guarantee you could be 10 for 10. But if you're lazy at that point, then that means you're lazy about a lot of other shit you're doing too. Come on now, I'm gonna keep it real with you.
Big shout out to my man SBC Kennels in the house. He said he got a jam that could jump 6 feet straight up. Bit hole in the tarp covering a 5 by 10 retriever kennel. Hey Mo, before
Yeah.
hey under what condition would you use the IV?
Sick dogs to stop eating and they down and they dehydrated. A dog that's been in a terrible kennel accident and has lost a lot of blood. It's fucked up. I'm gonna put him on IV like they do you when you get shot and you go to the hospital. What's the first thing they hook your ass to? For those who ever ain't never been shot, you've been in the hospital and you didn't have something bad enough happen to you. What's the first thing they hook up to your ass? An IV. With that IV, they can give you medication to get into your bloodstream, fluid to get into your bloodstream, all the necessary things to get into your bloodstream to save your life. IVs are definitely used for hydration. If your dog is dehydrated or has lost a lot of blood and he's down, then it's wise to do so. If you got a dog that has gotten off the chain and is badly banged up and he's fucked up and you got to, before you even clean him, you might as well start shaving off that paw and looking for a place to put your IV. And go ahead and put that big ass collar on that little bit collar around him before you clean him up. And if he's down, you ain't got to worry about that because he's going to be too down to even move. He's going to enjoy that bath that he's getting. He's going to enjoy that IV that's sitting up there keeping his ass alive. He's going to enjoy that Banamine shot that you added to his IV because he's not going to feel all that pain. He's going to enjoy that Dex that's going to get that inflammation. He's going to enjoy that immediate antibiotic that you're putting in him to cut down the infection before it starts spreading. This is all the things you want to stabilize him before you start cleaning him. Then when you start cleaning him and he's stabilized, you're going to be dealing with a dog that's going to be thanking you. You know?
And I wonder why he's speaking on the IV. I think it was the bear who made this. It's important. Mo always kept his emergency stuff around, but he always checked his dates on his IV bags. That's very, very important, gentlemen. Dates on the IV bag. I think they put expiration dates on them now.
Well, here's the main thing. You don't even need an IV bag. Here's the point. For guys who want to keep IV bags around, there's a reason why you want to have an IV. Get to the point where you don't need one. And if you need one, it's important for you to have one around. Then guess what? What you need to do is make damn sure, and this is the truth. You better make damn sure that it ain't nothing wrong with having to throw a bag of IV away because it's outdated. That means you didn't have to use one. If you ain't had to use one, don't be in a hurry about getting another one. That tells you, hey, you things looking settled. You know what I'm saying?
I done seen you save plenty of dogs here. And thanking God you had an IV bag and not that we needed them, but I've still seen you save other people's dogs here based off the IV bags because they had no idea. That's why they be bringing the dogs to you.
Yeah, well, you bring a sick dog to me, that's the first thing I'm gonna put on him. You want to if they're sick and they down, the first thing you want to do is put an IV in them. With that IV, you already got a vein, and then you can be able to inject everything else that's just gonna settle him down. If he's in pain, you give him Banamine. Baytril. Antibiotics. All that shit get into the bloodstream. All that's gonna help him feel better. All that's gonna help his infection.
Mo, my man, Sabir said, Mo, my mentor taught me the apple cider vinegar thing many moons ago. I spray it on my dogs' houses too because these two jokers would tear it up, and I use the decking planks when I build them. Yeah.
See, and all he's doing is confirming. That's a receipt for me. Like you said many moons ago. That's nothing but a receipt. Thank you for confirming. But that's what you do with them chewers. But don't give them nothing to chew. You gotta give them give them less things as you can give them where they don't have to chew. There's not much you can do with a plastic barrel. There ain't much you can do with a plastic barrel. There ain't nothing you can do if you had a nice plastic igloo. There ain't much you can do if you had a nice plastic house. He's gonna gnaw on that shit anyway. That's the bad thing about, to me, dealing with dogs that was on the chain, in Akron, they made them, even here in Tampa, you can't have your dogs on chains no more. To a point, it's a good thing because it made the guys get out there and have to put their dogs in cages, and they learned a lot of lessons about caging their dogs and how they caged them. There's a whole lot of trial and error when you've been on the chain for a long time, and now you've been forced to put your dog in a cage. A lot of mistakes were made. Going out there buying them old put together Tractor Supply cages when them wires ain't strong enough. Them walls move around when you got them dogs learning how to hit on them and punch on them in certain areas and get to moving them. You gotta have that shit locked down. You gotta have them on cemented floors and all that shit. And the next thing you know, you're going out there with a hose, just spraying it every day, just spraying it off. Where's it all going? Wherever you spraying it to, you still gonna have a stinking ass yard. Because if you don't keep the outside of what you're spraying, it's just as important as what you're spraying on the concrete off. If you're gonna be spraying piss and shit off, and you ain't cleaning the piss and shit off, around the concrete, then you're gonna still have a stinking ass yard. Yeah, you might be keeping the dog clean, but you ain't keeping the area around him clean. And remember, this is the same area that you walking around and walking in and out of his cage. That's what I always hated about the puppy pen thing. Puppy pen, one of the nastiest things you could ever have around. Guys spraying it right down under the bottom of the cage. Ain't nobody raking out shit. Ain't nobody cleaning up shit. Puppy cage look clean as hell, but stink like a motherfucker when you walk up there around it, and it ain't inside the cage. Y'all know what I'm saying?
Hey, now, on the yard, what was that thing that we used to dump the shit in? You put it under the ground. It had the line.
Oh, me? No, I built my own. Yeah, I built my own digester.
Yeah, the digester. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
digester.
yeah. I built a digester and put uh, a damn drain thing right in my puppy cage and piped it down into a big ass barrel that I dug a hole. I dug a hole and I ran my drain lines from my puppy cages to that hole. So I would push the shit and all that, had me a clean out right there in the middle where it was going where it would go to my underground digester. What you do is you dig up a hole, get your 55-gallon drum, one of them plastic dog houses, put a bunch of holes right there around the bottom, dig a hole, put that damn barrel down in that hole, and put lime rocks all around it. Put all those holes, put them and have them hoses around all that gravel. You want to build it all the way up where the holes are covered on the outside of that drum. And then you take your pipe and you run your pipe right down on the top of it. And then you close that hole back up. So when you go to putting your shit down, it's almost like making a where you put them trays of that and they build them little mounds and have your sewage thing out there. That's all you're doing.
Is that your TV?
That's not mine. You put stuff down in that digester. What it does is when you spray off your shit, that water gets down there, and you use that digester enzyme shit to drop down in there, and you got all that lime rock around your barrel. That water and all that shit and stuff, it seeps out into the earth, and you got a 55-gallon drum. That water is going to seep out because it's around all them rocks, and that water seeps back into the earth. And it takes all that other shit right along with it. And if you live in an area where the ground, you have a freeze area, a freeze line, just make sure your digester is deep enough that you're under the freeze line. But I mean, if you got a couple, like I said, these are for guys that use those puppy cages. These are for guys that got those kennels. Those kennels where, you just got to spray around them before you put your kennel in. You make your little cement thing, before they pour the cement to put your cage on, right? Put you a little, you want to put your little drain thing. You get them over there at down Home Depot. Put you one of them down and put it on the ground. So when they pour over your concrete, you make sure they pour over and leave that motherfucking pipe and all. Pour the pipe, pour the cement all around your thing. But now you got a drain inside your cage. And you got that pipe going on the outside of your cage, back there, usually behind your cage. So you can go back there and you can connect a pipe to all those cages and run them to a digester. Now you ain't got to worry about it. You just take the little shit, Me, I used to keep and make a little square box and then still put it around the cement before they poured it, put a square there, and then still stick my little drain there. So when they poured the cement, I had them pour right around, have my box there, but I would have them pour just a little cement to cover up my drain. You know what I'm saying? And now when I go to cleaning up shit, I just push all the shit right there to my little square box there where my drain is. Take my hose and go to spraying out, just spread it all down in the drain. I got real good at it at the end because then I ran me a whole valley. I went and got me some of that, that roof, how you had a roof line on your house where your water goes down off the roof and down into the thing. I had put one of them in the back of my cages and had it set up where when I sprayed, I had a level where it would drain right to a digester. So not only did I have a drain, I had some place where I could spray the cage off to the back and it go into this little drain and drain all the way down to the digester like everything else was.
You talk about the gutter.
The gutter, yes. My man said, add some chocolate. That's a smart one too.
I know you used to pour a lime down in your digester too.
Yeah, I did. Hey, Mike, I'll be right back.
Tribe, he got that link to that bag bomb. Check that out. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, you're right, Sabri. Cause I know he used the lime rocks. You can use charcoal. I mean, guess the rocks helps it spread out, through all the holes and everything. You don't build up, you know. So I thought it was a pretty nice setup because I think we had about 6, 7 puppy pens, and they was in the barn, and so it was kind of easier for us to do the piping at the barn. Now, when we was out on the yard, he built a digester, but it was where we could just rake up shit. And then we had the four wheeler with the little wagon you go with it, scoop up shit, take it back to the digester, dump it in, and boom. But look, that's just being serious about what we was doing, fellas. I mean, you don't have to have a big yard to take care of the yard. You shouldn't have to have a big yard to take care of a yard. What you could do for 1 or 2 dogs, you should be able to do for 5 or 10 dogs. You know, the size of the yard shouldn't matter based on the care. I think all dogs need the proper care. You know, and this is just one of the things we wanted to talk about due to the mistakes we've made over the years when it came to you know learning why you gotta have you know some type of knowledge when it comes to aftercare. You need some type of knowledge when it comes to a lot of things when it comes to these dogs. So, you know, you guys keep um, giving us that information, asking them questions, because it helps us talk about things that maybe needed to be talked about. Simply because somebody brought it up is the reason why we're talking about it. My man Sabir said, Mike, the only thing about the lime, you got to be careful and know what you're doing because it can mess up the hounds up by breathing it in. Mo knew how much to use. Yeah, and then most of the time when it came down to dumping this shit, it would be on the back side of the yard. It wouldn't be nowhere around the dog area. You know, it was just another hole that we built to um, we just start taking this shit to. I felt like shit, man. You got them down. digester for the damn puppy pen in the barn. You know what I mean? And we was filling barrels up full of shit, you know. And I was like, man, come on, go out here and dig this hole, man. For the digester and see if we can do this shit this way. Cause we used to just dig a big ass hole and then collect all the shit like we used to do in the service and do one of the kerosene thing, you know what I mean? Put kerosene on the fire, that shit up. We was out on the fire, doing nothing to burn this shit in. But the digester move, it was so much easier because the kids didn't have a problem riding a four-wheeler, and it made their job a lot easier by just running the damn thing down there and emptying it into the digester. Yeah, but you're right, Sabir. Yeah, um, that line can be some serious shit, especially if it ain't vented properly. That's why we put it on the backside. And most of the time, you know, I don't know if you was in the military, you never seen us burning shit where we slept or ate. It would always go to somewhere in the middle of something, ain't nobody there, and then you find yourself with this whole big thing of kerosene and a barrel, and you burn that shit. Because in the service, when we was in the field, we was using outhouses, you know. So that's how we had to deal with it back then. We had to deal with the burning shit. And I guess that started making people sick. So, you know, people got sick behind that shit. But never did worry about that on the yard, especially when we did that digester. And I don't know, I think he got that digester move from California Jack. Have any of you guys ever seen that California Jack book? It's got a lot of good shit in it, you know.
Right. Hey, now, hey, Mike. Before you get into that, let me tell you about the yard digester where we used to dump that shit at. See, here's the thing. See, I had a boy that lived across the street from me that had a backhoe, and this is what I did. He dug me a big ass hole, and we went down that hole and we got cinder blocks, and I put 4 rows of cinder blocks inside that hole, built me a big ass nice square inside the hole and had cinder blocks. And you know, those cinder blocks got holes in them. And then I took and took the same thing. I used them lime rocks and spread it the whole bottom and all around them cinder blocks, all the way around the hole. And then what we did, we put a top on it and we ran my pipe up. And then where we ran my pipe up, right there where after we covered, right where that pipe was, before we covered it, we would take and I would put me in 2 rows of cinder blocks on it. So when we go to back the 4-wheeler up and dump shit, all we had to do was dump it right down into the, you know, take the little gutter thing up and dump it right down in there. If it rains, so what? The rain going down into the bowl, into the cinder blocks anyway. The cinder blocks on the top of it was just somewhere for me to, it's like a sewer. It was like my sewer, you know, and all I had to do is had a little round little metal thing to drop over when I'm using it. Take my hand to pull it up and dump my shit down into the digester. But it was made with cinder blocks. You know, that was the trick to that. And all I used was the digester enzyme. You know, I forgot what it was called, but you use it for the same thing that, you know, when you use for people who had them outside underground sewage systems. You know, it's the same shit. It goes down there, eat up the shit, and the water spreads it back out to the around around the earth, you know. But I used to set my cinder blocks right on top of a whole bunch of lime rocks. You know, I built it up and set my blocks in it, and so they had lime rocks all around the outside, lime rocks all down there at the bottom. I have 4 stacks of them, so 2 stacks was filled with cinder blocks. You know, I didn't mind if it rained on it because as long as it's got water, it's digesting anyway. Never had to go down there and clean up one, never had one over full or nothing. But and never had a smell issue. You know, you got to dump your shit somewhere, especially if you got a whole bunch of dogs. And that was the way I used to get rid of it. I used to carry me like Mike said, I used to have a 55-gallon dog house thing, and I go around pick up shit. I pick up shit and throw it right in there. Have it right there on the back of my trailer. I'm pulling with the 4-wheeler. Get there, back that 4-wheeler up, and turn that bucket over it, drop it down into that little digester there, take my little shovels, push all that shit down in the hole, and I'm gone. Dirt and all. Wherever I'm scraping up, whatever's in that bucket, that's what's going down in that hole. Yeah, there you go. That septic, that's right. It's a septic system. That's what I was missing. Yeah, it was a septic system. It was just made for the dog, but it had the same concept of what they use, the septic they use for, like modular homes and shit like that. Same thing. Red-X, yeah, all that'll work. You're right, all that works. But that's when you want to really get serious about your yard, though. I mean, if you think about it, the little time and the money that was spent on doing that, you wouldn't believe how much it saved me. Because 1, I didn't have a bunch of flies. You know what I mean? 2, I didn't have a stinky yard. You know what I'm saying? And 3, you always had, that little bit of time. Man, it got so bad, man. I had water hoses out there. Like I had cameras and electric and lights out there on my yard. I had fog lights out there on my yard. Well, you could light up and care what time of the night was. The whole yard had lit up. Boom. One switch.
Sure the hell did. The whole yard lit up. And they had spigots, so we didn't have that far to carry water no more.
They had to carry water now. Had hose on everything.
Hose on everything. Yeah, y'all, we did have a yard. Big shout out to my man, 1978, Lloyd. What up, fam?
But that's when you're getting serious about it. You know what I mean? You mean that's when shit was serious. And if you notice, everything I talk about is about everything when it comes to making it easy for you to be able to take care of your dogs. Cameras, microscope,
scale,
stick tester, IVs.
Don't forget the scale.
The scale. Learning how to give your dog the proper medicine, know the calculation, understanding, the actual calculation, take the guessing out your shit. Know your medicines. All those things right there, man. Look, the vet used to come to my yard and give all my dogs their rabies shots. He used to come to my yard and give my dogs rabies shots. And he used to be so tickled on how that yard used to be with all those damn dogs.
He was impressed.
He sure was, and he was and refused to testify when they subpoenaed him. He came with his damn lawyer. Prosecutor ain't no need to be calling me because ain't nothing I can tell you that's going to help your case. And that's why he bought a lawyer. Ain't nothing I can tell them that's going to incriminate this young man. So I don't even know why you trying to use me because I'm better off with the defense. I can't help you. That's what he did. And that's what he told him. Not one time did he have to get on the stand, did he, Mike?
Nope. I mean, you didn't even have no witnesses.
I didn't have no witness.
So I think he did. He in his deposition.
In his deposition, that's what he told him.
Yeah, the deposition, and said he ain't never seen nothing. He had all the records, everything. And the trial time came, she didn't dare call him.
There wasn't no need to call him. It wasn't nothing that she could say that could be used against me. So, like he said, he wasn't going to testify to nothing anyway. He told him, I'm not testifying to nothing. There's nothing I can testify to help the prosecution anyway. So why are you calling me? You can subpoena his records, and then you're going to see that all I did is went out there and gave his dog shots. He brought his dogs in when they have babesia. I got records of that. He had records of all that. Is that what you need? You don't want to use none of that. It just shows you that he brought his dog in when necessary. And every 3 years, I would go out there and vaccinate the dogs. And we took pictures of the dogs. I have all the dogs on files. I knew all the dogs' name. I knew all the dogs' weight. He kept a good record, a health record on every dog on that damn yard. He had a picture of every dog, and he had a shot record for every one of those dogs. He had medical records on every one of his dogs that he could go pull any one of them dogs and show me the picture of the dog and the medicine that they got and the weight that they were.
Let me give a big shout out to my man, Tony. What up, Tony? Tribal said, I'm giving cap of ASV to my dogs and food every other third day. What's SASV? Tribal? Man, Sabir said, man, Mo, I got to just sit down with you and Mike and just soak it up because a carpenter by trade and a nerd, read a lot of engineering books. That's why I said y'all had a true yard, no smells on. You know what, Sabir? We contractors too. So a lot of shit we did because we worked in the construction field, air conditioning and heating, just dealing with contracts and blueprints. But Mo, he, what they call it, I just said he anal when it comes down to certain things. And that yard, keeping it clean, keeping them dogs warm. I don't know if people take it as serious he did, because he's still that same dude all these years later. He don't deal with no fleas, don't deal with no worms, nothing. And I think all dogs should be like that. That's for much time y'all put into them.
Yeah, Windy City had a nice setup, for his puppies. You know, he had all his puppies on. He had it in a special room. He had, you know, had a cement floor. You know what I mean? And he had them little crates all around it. You know, he had his little drain thing, and like all three corners. I mean, all three sides except for the front side. He had these little, you know, almost like a gutter, but he had the little things over them. And he had a little thing that he could go down with a little hook and pull up the crate and just push all the shit in. And then when he went to spraying and everything, he sprayed right there to them three sides. He would take his little squeegee and push all that water to his little grills he had on them three walls. And it was just, you know, he had a clean, he kept his puppies clean. You know, I never knew what he used on that floor, but it always smelled good in there where them puppies was. It was never a foul smell. It was always a nice, clean smell. So, you know, he was definitely putting something on the floor to disinfect that concrete. You know, because it always smelled nice and fresh after he cleaned them, you know?
You know, Tom's, you know, we was at Tom's house when he showed us the church. Remember, he got heater floors in his shit.
Yeah. He sure do. Okay, yeah. 1978. That's what it was. No, that was the bureau. Yeah, it's called a trap. That's what he had. Yeah, the trap. Yeah, we had traps on all three walls. Same thing I was doing in the back of my cages. I took them gutters and turned them into traps. You know, and let all that water run, and all that water and runoff run right down to my little digester I had. You know, when you putting shit together like that, and once it's all together, man, you know, it makes it so much easier and quicker to clean. It's like a routine. When it's a routine, it ain't hard to deal with when you done made it easy to deal with. No, my dog, I used to pick up all my dogs, all of them ate out of stainless steel bowls. And I used to ride around with the four-wheeler when I would feed them and pick up all them bowls and stick them in a bucket full of water, you know, one of them barrels full of water, but it had bleach in it. Bleach and water. And I would drop them pans down in there. And when I got done and I would take them back, I would take them pans out of that water there and put them in a fresh bowl of thing of water and leave them there till the next day. When it came down to feeding, I would take them all out that water and stack them up and go out there to the yard with and start feeding dogs every day. I used to take that same water that I used to throw the pans in and use them cement. You remember them, you know, them cement bowls? I used to make them cement bowls. I take that same water, take that cement, that water out of that bleach water, take me one of them pans and just pour in that water bowl. Take my little toilet brush, scrub it out, scrub all that green shit off the sides with my little toilet bowl cleaner and keep it moving. Come back through there and just start filling up water bowls. Never had a green, mossy ass, none of that. And it made it easy.
I remember when we used to have them concrete bowls.
Yeah, I'm talking about the concrete bowls. Yeah, the water bowls. Yeah, I used to take that big old plastic bowl and that was my mold.
Yeah. Hey, big shout out to my man Johnny Rocket. He said concrete and wood floors need to be painted to seal them to keep smell from penetrating.
Yeah, that's true.
Hey Mo, you got a question. My man 1978 said, hold on, let me go back to his, no, where's it at? Just seen it. Right here. He said, what do you think about that red boy question? I didn't see it. Let's see.
Hey, tell me, ask me again, because I missed it.
Go ahead, ask the question again, 1978, because I did miss it. I know it was something between you and In the Woods, but sure would like to address it. Big shout out to my man Sabir. He said, best hound channel I've subscribed to. Yeah, my mentor would warn me about using the title bulldog. He would always use the term hounds or critters, LOL. Bulldog is a earned title description. Yo, who the hell was your mentor? Because he sound like was he ex-Marine? Sound like he was on your ass. He made you wait 3 years. Shit, he was serious. He made sure you was ready.
He said the pure Red Bull strain minus Katie Marlowe and no Jocko.
Well, we did have pure red boy.
Well, I'm going to tell you like this. The pure best Red Boy strain without no Jocko would have been Yellow John. To me, Yellow John. He's on the registered merit list. He's up there. He ain't far behind his son, Grand Champion Yellow. Y'all never thought about that one, huh? Yellow John is in the top 10 of the most producing dogs on the registered merit list. He's the top 10. Like I said, Yellow John, Yellow, in Mayday, in Tab. You know, I mean, Tab is on there too. Like Blackjack, they up there in them top 10. But Yellow John, Mayday, and Yellow, those are 3 lines that's in the top 10 of the registered merit list. And when I say Yellow John was the purest red boy, because he was about the purest red boy, there was a producingest red boy dog, because that's a fact. Because guess what? He's on the registered merit list, purest red boy on the registered merit list in the top 10. So how pure and why would he not be the best red boy, purest dog minus Katie Marlowe? Because he was a red boy dog.
Pretty Mama didn't have no Jocko in her.
No.
Amber didn't have no Jocko in her.
Yes, she did.
Oh, Amber?
She had an 8th of Jocko.
Okay.
Down at the very bottom. Remember, it went back to Zebo. Remember, she had Zebo in her.
Amber did.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you know it better than I do, but I know Pretty Mama, she was a red boy dog.
But even she had an 8th of her out, which consisted of Kingfish, Grand Champion Art, Stubby Fields, Buddy, you know.
Yeah. Okay.
Let
me
remember that.
Mouth.
Okay.
No, you straightening me out. Shit.
Yeah, damn ain't, he said purest red boy. Yellow John is the purest, best red boy dog on record. When you talking about the best purest red boy dog, you look on the registered merit list, to this day, he's still in the top 10. And he was a red boy dog. Brian Bailey has some nice dogs. Yeah, Brian Bailey has some nice red boy dogs. And if you look at Bailey's Bingo, Chance, and all those dogs, yeah, they were pretty good dogs. You know? But, you know, even when you look at Hunter Red, look at Hunter Red and them assassin dogs. They were registered merit dogs too. No, there were some pretty good ones, but they then you said the best strain on record is Yellow John. You know, do your homework. Do your homework. That's all I can say. If you do your homework, you'll see what I'm saying. I'll go and see if I can throw ahead and throw them up there just for y'all to take a look since you spoke it up.
Hey Mo, I got a pedigree with a number that thinks Severe threw up with Brian Bailey.
Okay, I'll throw it up there. Hold on. Let me put this one up first.
Okay. Mims or Tant, 1978. I'm taking Tant.
I'm taking 10. Okay, there go Yellow John pedigree. Is it up there yet, Mike?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't see it on my end yet. But they can see it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. That's the pure red boy, the best red boy strain minus Katie Marlowe. Now, ain't gonna be too many out there that can do that. Ain't too many dog men out there that had that type of dog.
Now, that Marlowe's feather, is that Katie?
Yeah, that's Katie Marlowe.
Okay, we stand minus to her ass.
Well, but we gotta look again now.
The red boy.
Exactly.
Okay. I'm just saying that ain't minus.
Well, she can't minus when she coming off a red boy, Mike. It's not. She not. Yellow John is not a Katie Marlowe dog. Red boy, Yellow John is a red boy dog.
Right.
Katie Marlowe had the bomber, but you can best believe Fletcher Shavers and old Wiley produced that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Now you go ahead and give me that number. I'll go and look it up right quick.
Okay, I gotta post it up. Big shout out to Athletic Species in the house. What up, fam?
Okay, read that out to me, Mike. You ain't got my glasses.
314-36.
Y'all see that? You see it, Mike? Bailey's bow. Hey, Mike, did it come up?
Yeah, it's up.
Okay. That's Bailey's bow.
That's Red Boy. Goddamn.
But it's not minus the Marlowe. You know what I mean? Look at all that. Look at all that baby Katie Marlowe. Down to the whole third generation is Katie Marlowe. Actually, from the third to the goddamn first, the third to the second, Katie Marlowe. But it's a heavy inbred baby Katie Marlowe dog. You know, that's how mama's pedigree look, except for the very bottom of it. You know what I mean? Because she was triple bred whistler. You know what I mean? But see, what good is it? I mean, here's my thing about this shit here. You see, this is my problem with it. What good is it? What good is the pedigree? Here's the point that I'm making right there. This old boy was a pretty nice dog here. He produced very well. Old Hap. He didn't have to produce but 3 back in the old days. Y'all see that, right? Now we're going to go to page 2. We still got to make him a registered mare here. We ain't made him one yet. They go West Penn, the size him up Black Beast. That's Game Blood, that same dog. And then what we're gonna have to do, we're gonna have to check the registered mare list in our journals to make sure that we gonna have the right dog there. But you know, they got haphazard registered mare here. We ain't seen the 3 champions yet. Cause that was the older breeding, even when it came down to the beast breeding. See little Hap. But see, my thing again is, what good is it if it ain't Yellow John? I mean, it's just a nice red boy bred dog. I think the best one, I would have to say, you know, I think Big Mike, he had Chance. And Chance produced a lot of dogs, you know, that ended up being crossed with the, you know, that yellow rascal cross. You know, you start seeing Chance show up in a lot of pedigrees of some great dogs. Because they was using him as an out, and it's not an out, inbred to the yellow. Because you're going to always seem to find the yellow dogs in these badass dogs that hardcore and them boys is making, and the guys that was breeding the Chance. Y'all see how they was using Chance to produce some pretty good dogs. They was using Chance breeding back into some rascal dogs and was producing some damn good dogs. Hey, Mike.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Boomer was a not Boomer. Boomer was a good producer. Boomer was a good producer. but he still wasn't yellow. Boomer was a good producer, but he wasn't yellow.
You think Boomer was better than Mims Candy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Mike.
Yes, sir.
Talk about. Remember when old school was in those comments where they were talking about the copying part, right?
Right.
Okay. There was a little thing that I wanted to make attention to on that to kind of clear that up. When we say that we copied off of the guys that we got, and we followed them based on what they were doing. One thing the old school missed in that whole conversation, the people we were following were not only producing winners, they was winning matches. So for me to be able to copy them, what did we have to do?
You had to do what they was doing. You had to breed your shit and use it.
Exactly. There's a difference between copying and doing it, but you missed the most important part. What we was copying and why we were getting what they were getting is because we were producing champions too. And we was winning with our dogs like they were. Still took work. You see what I'm saying?
I think that's the part you was
work.
I think that's what you thought he was missing.
Yeah. Well, I think that, because if he had to put that in there with everything else, because it means a lot when you copying something, but you got to remember, we copying, what are we copying? Not only are we copying the dogs that took us there, remember, we wasn't using their dogs, were we?
Nope.
So that means we weren't matching their dogs, were we?
Never did.
And that means we wasn't winning with their dogs, were we?
Well.
Okay.
We never was winning with nobody's dogs but our own.
That's the point. That's the point that he missed. If you're going to copy something, doesn't mean literally copy, but follow the program. I didn't have to use their dogs. I just had to use the format. But it still take work. What good is the copying if you can't get the same work? You can copy something all day long and ain't getting shit. You can copy something all day long and ain't doing shit. You know what I mean? If we're copying and we're being successful because we are putting in the work. Don't forget the work. You see what I'm saying? It makes me a whole lot easier for me to copy. At least I know I'm on the right direction for being able to play like they was playing. Okay? Who wouldn't copy if you get a chance to play like they was playing? If I wasn't copying, I would have never been so excited about making that motherfucking Mayday Stone City breeding, right?
Or even you have some breedings with hardcore.
Yeah. I mean, I bred a lot of. I bred. Remember, I had Wonder in them.
Mm-hmm.
But they were bred. I was taking hardcore stuff, bringing back into the Stone City Mayday cross. Don't forget the shit in them was hardcore Mayday in Stone City.
Yeah.
That's a copy breed, ain't it?
I think it is.
But what that got to do with the work, though? That wouldn't mean shit if we ain't getting the work. What's wrong with copying if you can get something to play with? Why build your own and ain't getting shit? That would have been my question. Makes a lot of sense, but makes me wonder, what chances do you have if you ain't copying? What did you make? If you're trying to do your own thing, why ain't you on that list? You know what I'm saying?
Hey, but
it's a question. Just asking a simple question because you missed the most important part. You missed the work.
we didn't never look at our dogs like they are hardcore Stone City dogs. I always looked at it like they just going hard.
because they are. They were. They were all breedings, and we used they dogs to make those breedings. Like we use Mayday, like we use Yellow Buck, like we use Hardcore. You know what I'm saying? Like we use Twisted. But what good is that if we can't win like they was winning? And how can we win if we're not putting in the work? At least I was copying, and we were able to have something to put in the work to make us worthy. You know what I mean? So that was the key part to that is you neither one of them in that area caught on to the work. We just didn't have dogs bred like them because well, none of those dogs bred like theirs. You know? It's what we did with the dogs to do what? To go play. What was the purpose of us making these breedings?
Yeah. Now that's I give you and KP a lot of credit for that shit because a lot of the conversations and arguments and to get us to that point with just based off of references of what they was already doing. KP the breeder, but you the boxman. You know what I mean? And for y'all to come together and create shit that work, I just never looked at it like that's a Stone City dog. You know, that's a going hard. That's a Southern Kennels dog. No, that's a going hard. You know, so let's see here.
That was off of Mayday, but she was definitely wouldn't be worth talking about. She wasn't a champion. She'd be no more than a dog off of Mayday.
Yeah, I got you.
You know what I mean?
Yes, sir. All right. It's 12:58, man. Time to close this down, bro.
Yes, sir.
I hope I didn't miss nobody tonight. Hey, appreciate you guys for showing up tonight. Very communicative chat room tonight. Appreciate the input, fellas. Hey, if y'all don't learn anything from tonight, then that makes you the perfect dog, man. Some classes, sometimes y'all just got to just skip. But then there's some of these times, these conversations, they might not be for everybody, but I'm pretty sure there's enough for somebody's out there who can use this information to make what you're doing just a little bit better, or at least help you increase your knowledge of knowing. And I think that's one of the biggest attributes to, being a dog. I got you, uh, tribal ASV, apple cider vinegar. I got you, fam. I don't know
I
why I
do the
didn't pick
same
that
thing with
up.
my dogs too. But that's because I feed them raw chicken. I keep my bottle of apple cider vinegar and spread over their kibbles and their chicken. And keep their probiotics in their gut. Keep it cleaned up and cleaned out. That's
You
what
know,
it's
I,
good for.
I usually ask it at least twice a week in my dog's food,
Mm-hmm.
at least twice a week. Big shout out to my man K Walt. I see you, fam. Got it. Hey, again, appreciate everybody for showing up, showing out. Hey, if you haven't hit the subscribe button, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. If you haven't hit that like button, make sure you hit that like button. Fellas, um, these last two shows have given us some serious information. We got this month here is going to be a big month. We got the South Biden show coming up, and you got the APDR show coming up. I know a lot of you guys is putting in some work. You know, I really wanted to see if I could make both the shows, but it's not going to be possible because Mo is not going to be like him to be wheeled around in a wheelchair. And I ain't going to be trying to wheel it around in no damn wheelchair. So hopefully we join in. These shows keep showing up. Y'all keep doing what y'all doing. I would love to come out and hang out with a lot of you guys. But these next two shows, we already in the March. It's not going to happen. But y'all keep doing what y'all doing. I'm looking, and I'm really looking forward to seeing the results. So before we get out of here, if this information helped you in any type of way, or just was just good listening, show some love and give me some damn thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Muscles, muscles,
Muscles.
yeah. Now, give me some damn roses, roses. We need them roses. I don't need everybody to do it. I just need enough of y'all to do it. I'll be like, okay, I can work with that. Just give me something to work with. Again, I know we got a lot of dog people out here showing that love. A lot of dog men out here willing to share that information and co-sign some of the shit that we talk about. Big shout out to my man, Mr. Will Turner, and my man Sean B back there. You know, them's my peeps. And you know, big shout out to my man Sabir, sharing his mentorship. And the fellas, look, when we do this show, we're not doing this show as someone trying to be big or better. These shows don't have nothing to do with that. What these shows actually do is just give information that we think going into the future and the way things are changing, that gives you some type of guideline. Because remember, only thing that's really changing is the purpose. The dog man gonna be the same. The dog's gonna be the same. I mean, I say the same because people gonna be people and dogs gonna be dogs. Only thing's gonna be different is the purpose. Our purpose is different than your purpose. But the care and the upkeep, the maintenance, the breeding, based on the purpose, you know, it's not really much gonna change. And whatever floats your boat, we ain't here to knock with nobody what you do with your dog. Not here to tell you what to do with the damn dog. But we share the information that helps you be better dealing with these dogs and will make you a better dog man. Because at some point you're gonna be old like us. And if you're gonna still be in this game and love your dog, not gonna have no problem being a mentor to somebody, then you're gonna be the same way that Sabir's mentor was with him, the same way we were with
Going in and out,
our
Mike.
proteges. You know, everything is a learning experience. And believe it or not, I believe that you never stop learning. Because since we've been doing this show, I have learned a lot. So, big Shout out to all the guys that shares their information, puts in that research, and shares it with people. Because if it don't be for a lot of the other YouTube channels and some of their content, there'd be a lot of things and a lot of dog men that I wouldn't have even known about, that I find real interesting when I see it. That I go look and be like, man, where were they located at? You know, because we don't know everybody in the dog game. We're not trying to say we did. We just try to represent the people that we did know, the people that was a part of what we did, had a big influence on what we did, and we share that with you. So big shout out to my man Small Time. I see you, fam. Fort Lauderdale D. I know you out there, fam. Big shout out to you and my whole Super Kennel crew. Will Turner, you always know. Much love, man. I'm gonna be up that way. You know, we still got family up that way. Be glad to run into you because I gotta see the fam. You know, but it would be nice to go up there and run into you. I know you hear. You hear me?
Yeah, you're breaking up a little bit though.
Okay. Is it still breaking up though?
Yeah, like I don't know why, but it just a little bit.
I don't know what's going on.
Maybe because you
I,
got
I,
that other window open.
yeah, and I can't close it. I can
Yeah,
I
okay.
can back out of it.
Yeah, that's all good.
And I can hear myself. When
Mm-hmm.
that ain't there, I don't have that problem. So big shout out to my man, Athletic Species, Carlos. Yeah, the same people showing that love. Let me see who else. Put that up. I'm gonna do it this way. I don't put that thing up there. Gotta go all the way down to this to find. Big shout out to my man, 1978 Lloyd, Mr. Paul Johnson, Small Time Kennels. Fellas, we will be back here Friday. I think. I don't think we got anything planned Friday. You got anything planned Friday, Mo?
Not that I know of.
We're good. That means we will be back here Friday. Hey man, thanks for everybody for showing up, showing out. Look, put in the work, take notes, rewind the video. If you are just now newbie to the channel, hit that subscribe button. For all you future viewers that happen to run across, don't forget to hit the like button. Till then, do what we always do. Beat your bulldog. You know, always have it in your heart. Make it a part of your bulldog life. Always. I mean, always scratch and
Got to
win.
win, baby. That's 2W.
S2W all day. Fellas, you need to get that in your life, man. Because it's all about winning. Papers don't mean nothing if the dog ain't shit. Mo,
Yes,
you
sir.
don't want me to talk about no more breed, right?
No more breed.
Okay. Well, I'm going to talk about it because it keeps coming up. I just think it's a different papers. It's going to always boil down to it.
I mean, when it comes to questions, but what's a good breeding? Like he did with the red boy stuff. When you was talking about the red boy stuff, who would have ever thought Yellow John? Everything after I said Yellow John, look at all the other dogs that he brought to the table, but was none of them better than the Yellow John dog. You know what I'm saying?
So that to you is the purest red boy dog out there.
Yes, producing red boy dog. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Pure
When he
red boy dog, yeah.
fought somebody twice. I'm just asking. I don't know the difference between yellow and yellow John.
Yellow John was Yellow Daddy.
Okay. Something so minor, I'm supposed to know, and you know damn well I know they exist. That's it. Hey Mo, you got any special?
And the father, son, and grandson in the top 3 most producing dogs of all time. And if you want to throw even a great grandson in there, if you want to add Luke Kane and Barracuda.
Do you think you could breed a red boy dog to anything and get something?
No.
I don't either.
You gotta have a light red boy dog.
Yes, sir. We're gonna say that for a different date because you don't want to talk about breeding. And it's a whole bunch of the right.
A whole bunch of good right red boy dogs that made history.
Yes, sir. And still doing it. But
Yes,
like you know.
Yes, sir.
Hey, this is how I'm breaking it down tonight, bro.
Better know my head, but don't talk about it, be about it. That's the code we live in the game with them pitbulls. See the proof and how to give from the pit to the trophies. Every chain, every game. Don't talk about it, be about it, be about it. Don't talk about it, be about it. That's the code we live in the game with them pitbulls. See the proof and how to give from the pit to the trophies. Every chain, every game. Don't talk about it, be about it, be about it. Most wanted Kennels in the spotlight, danger alert, come with the name. Super Kennels competition, all built for the fame. Work Kennels was the work and work, while Cherokee kept the game strong. Evolution built a bloodline, where the heart come from. These dogs ain't hype, they the truth in the pit. Every pedigree stamp, when them paws hit the street. Ain't no fairy tales, this that real y'all grit. Don't talk about it, be about it. That's the pit bull script. Shout the brothers with the backbone thick. Veer brothers, color brothers, Bishop brothers legit. They don't talk about it, they be about it every day. Put the work in and y'all let the results say. Them boys on the rise, yeah, the circle stay tight. Plow boys, wall boys, Havana boys in the fight. Different flags, same ground, same fire, same spit. Don't talk about it, be about it. That's the litmus test.
Legend of doom, behind set tone. Loctite, locked in, carved in stone. Church boys hold it with the pit bull gauge. Fruit colors on man, Sean B in the maze. Arsenal game bill, but your knife stay sharp. Only in America, walk them down, ram in the dark. DSK and Mad Ohio dog, pound by hard when they hit. Praise to the men who rock this shit.
Don't talk about it, be about it. Yeah, they live it. Fat boy the legend, Lil Buster, real strong Southern bulldog, keep the bloodline long. Latin force pressure, sniper don't miss. Shaded day, shaded with a killer instinct. Twist, super night power, unit whole rank. Boot camp, click hitting like a Sherman tank. Lil' fine with the vision. Tennessee dog pound, got their eyes on the pit. All legendary, really the shit. Don't talk about it, be about it. Yeah, they built it brick by brick. Talk about it. Yeah, they built it brick by brick. Talk about it. Yeah, they built it brick by brick. Talk about it. Don't talk about it, be about it. Don't talk about it. That's the yard law, from the pups to the legends, everybody stand tall. Every name on this track got a story that's lit. Don't talk about it, be about it.
Every name on this track got a story that's lit.
Don't talk about it, be about it.
Call this some legendary pit bullshit, 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 pit bullshit.
We in the trenches, feel that hunger in the air.
Yeah. Welcome to the yard. If you're tough, you can stand. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, welcome to the yard, where the chain spots shine, bloodlines run deep, every pedigree's prime. The game APBT, worldwide pride. You come correct, or stay the hell outside, legacy made. We grind, we hustle, twin bosses, Mo and Mike locked in the scuffle. Yeah, we run the yard, iron fists and grit. When the sun comes up, no, we never gon' quit. Udo and Devo, legends carved in stone. Patrick Bolio made the yard they home. Tanned and yellow, they whisper through the trees. Echoes of greatness, feel that legacy breeze. Going hard, going hard. Yeah, we run this yard, nothing but the best. We don't play it soft, bloodline stack heavy, 52 ways so strong in this dog-eat-dog world. We know where we belong, the yard where greatness prevail. Pressure creates knowledge and hard work. It's how history bakes, all on the fucking deal. Pressure creates knowledge and hard work. It's how history bakes. Tails in the dirt, every chain spot turn, lessons learned hard. Like the scars we earn, no shortcuts taken. Champions ain't bought, just blood and sweat. This legacy taught from Mayday to Ace, Buck to Jeep. Every warrior counts, we ain't losing no sleep. Heat like a furnace, knowledge is the key. In the yard we trust, we got the pedigree. Feel the intensity, blaze in the fight. In the shadows of the yard, we rewrite the night. From the ring to the chain, we like kings cut out. Mo and Mike, every victory's what we shout. Going hard, going hard. Yeah, we run this yard, nothing but the best. We don't play it all, bloodline stacked heavy, 52 ways so strong in this dog-eat-dog world. We know where we belong, the yard in the dirt. Yeah, knowledge and hard work. It's how history plays, y'all in the dirt. Yeah, knowledge and hard work. It's how history baked. Yeah, legacy in the dirt. Yeah, feel that fame. The game APBT. Remember the name, so step back. If you can't handle the heat, the yard's going hard. Put the game on repeat. It's Mo and Mike. Kings in this game, going hard. Kennels forever reign the same, nigga. Yeah.
Going hard, Kennels, yeah, we run this yard. Twin bosses, Mo and Mike, every day they go hard. Line stack heavy like a deck full of cards. From yellow Mayday 8s, they bred real stars. Welcome to the yard where the legends get raised, where the chain spots shine and the bloodlines praise. Grand champ King Kunta with that royal type stride. Red ruby in the pen, red hot worldwide. The brat in the cut, keep the hustle on track. Pretty moment got the look and the structure intact. L-Ride bring the heat, yellow bird bring the flame. Gus and 38 special certified in the game. What day in the ring, crowd love in the scene. Dogs moving like ghosts in the champion's dream. From yellow to buck, their foundation is tough. Yellow buck in the veins, yeah, the roots run rough. Mayday in the pedigree, ace in the spine. That old school fire still alive in the line. Twin brothers in command, pushing forward with pride. Going hard on the banner, let the whole world ride. Hard work in the yard, every sunrise earned. Legacy in the dirt, with every chain spot turn. No shortcuts taken, no champions bought. Just blood, sweat, time, and the lessons they taught. Going hard, Kennels, yeah, we run this yard. Twin bosses, Mo and Mike, every day they go hard. Line stack heavy like a deck full of cards. Yellow Mayday ace turning pups into stars. Sheriff Pal bought us in the game, stamp legit. Find him in Tornadoes pedigree. Hall of Fame, double grand champion. James Pogay, the formula showed how to build and sustain. Blueprints in the blood, yeah, the knowledge remain. T.O. our partner, Ohio Cash showed how to win. Turn losses into lessons, now it's trophies we spin. Mama, Triple M, deep south in the mix. Arsenal, Kennel, Stone City, solid foundations, no tricks. Hardcore, BLB up in the spec is 6. Yes. Tom, Tony Wade, Southern Kennels, real ones through time. Time from Pro Set, Windy City, combined in place, low type, apex, pressure built for the chase. Gotta eat boys, black ice, hunger sharp as a blade. Third verse for the legacy, every debt fully paid. Yeah, I said third verse for the legacy. Every debt fully paid.
Yeah. It's Mo and Mike in the house.
Going hard with the legends. Paying homage, you know. Yo. Twins Mo and Mike, we running this game. Legends in the making, never gonna be the same. Kennels popping hard, these game dogs raised right. The brat, pretty mama, they shining so bright. LaMayday, what a day, they breathe the heat. Red Ruby L-Rod, they can't accept defeat. With 38 special and yellow bird, we top tier champions, grand champions, ain't no fear.
Run the register, I'm merit, we got the elite. Mayday bug Jeep, yellow Frisco, feel the beat. Females like honey bunching awesome, baby, we tight. Bloodline strong, spreading knowledge, taking flight. Scratch to win, don't talk about it. We the real deal, you know it's no doubt about it.
KPTO, the modern Earl Tudor. Got in the pack, making moves like a tutor. APT, family thick, like legends in the game. Legend of them, Triple M. Shout out the name, Deep South, Roadblock. We upholding tradition. Mama, Southern Kennels, we got that ambition. Hardcore hitters, Stone City brings the fire. The Abrahams, the fam lifting us higher.
Run the register, I'm merit, we got the elite. Mayday bug Jeep, yellow Frisco, feel the beat. Females like honey bunches, awesome, baby, we tight. Bloodline strong, spreading knowledge, taking flight. Scratch to win, don't talk, be about it. We the real deal, you know it's true, no doubt about it.
Listen up, respect the hustle, respect the grind. Ben, Nate Dogg, putting in work intertwined. Keeping that legendary status alive, you feel? Don't hate on the ride, catch the bus, we keep it real. What's history without a future? We pay the way, Captain. We make it happen, that's the play.
So here's to the champions, run the race, stand tall. Twins Mo and Mike, we gon' answer the call. Legends in the game, yeah, we holding it down. In the world of game dogs, we wearing the crown.
Run the register, I'm merit, we got the elite. Mayday bug Jeep, yellow Frisco, feel the beat. Females like honey bunching awesome, baby, we tight. Bloodline strong, spreading knowledge, taking flight. Scratch to win, don't talk, be about it. We the real deal, you know it's true, no doubt about it.
Shout out to Ohio Cash, the man with the plan, Rastaman Boom, Schoolboy, aka the. There's levels to this game. To